Welcome back to the Paladins Premier League. I'm Fawn here on the desk now. And now what it was that we just ended up signing was that we saw Renegades versus VP, a 4-0 sweep in Virtus Pro's favor. Very, very well played. But once again, I'm not here alone. I'm here with Nick.
Hello,
Pretty
guys.
here.
Welcome. This is going to be a good one. This is two very high-seeded teams up against each other. As far as what happened last set, I mean, yes, they're pretty close in the standings, but we talked a little bit about that yesterday. VP just feel like they're a bit of a renewed roster.
Right.
They made these changes, and they just look like a completely different beast this phase. However, both these teams, NIP and Envy, they have made no changes, right?
Exactly.
They just have that world caliber players across the board. For them, it's more tweaking strategies. I think Random Noob was pretty verbal yesterday, kind of unhappy, I think, understandably, with the Envy's performance. But not with anyone in particular, as that team is a unit. They're going to succeed together. They're going to fail together. So they're really just kind of looking at this game plan and how they need to adjust as a team for today's match.
Of course, and NIP on that flip side, world-renowned players, is extremely, extremely good players, high-caliber players. They do really, really well just in general. And on top of that, I can always think of one person that comes to mind whenever I hear NIP, and that's Alex. I can always think of his caliber of player.
Newest player on the roster. I mean, there's a lot to talk about with this guy. He's been in the PPL before. He's had that sort of experience. But from the outside looking in, it looked like a wishy-washy resume, right? Because he did not do very well, particularly with mouse sports. He had kind of this awkward reputation of like, oh, he always kind of plays Kinessa, and that's like his thing. And he was like, yeah, it's not really me, making that decision. And I think, frankly, it was a last-second decision, from what I was told, to switch him in to play for NIP. And maybe it's just foresight from Bird Bonker. I don't know what it was, what they saw in this guy, but it has absolutely paid off. I think he's really done a good job of not only performing well, but the breadth of characters that he has picked up to play in this season to really fill out and make NIP kind of the monster that they are. Not having to really live in the shadow of Tenor. This guy has had his moments where he looks like the really, really flexible one. But also look at this replay. Playing a little bit of Tyra, he can be that role player for when this team really, really wants to be flexible. When they want to do triple tank Tyra, he can kind of, be that commanding battle general, mark people up and burn them down and let the rest of the boys kind of clean it up and get in there in the dirt, in the weeds. Alex, you really can't say enough about him. I think he's paid off in spades for NIP. Absolutely phenomenal pickup for this year.
Exactly. Yeah, super positive KD as well. 942 kills overall in one of the season 3 stats. Yeah, super, super awesome player, awesome guy too, I'm sure. NIP we just saw it yesterday as well. They managed to take it 4-0 over Renegades.
Yeah.
And in that same situation, it's very, very interesting to see how these teams are going to go up against one another today.
For sure, because Envy are still the reigning world championships until somebody, unseats them in November. But at the moment, Ninjas in Pyjamas look like the prime candidate to do so. What they do so well, in my opinion, is they don't really, get comfortable. A lot of teams in the past, when they've been at the top, have gotten comfortable, and I think NIP have done a pretty good job at making sure they stay flexible. We're seeing Navi attempt to do that as well. Now the question falls to Envy. What will you do to stay at or near the top? What new strategy, what new play style, what new characters will you master to stay in the spot that you're in now?
Yeah, and Envy had a little bit of an unfortunate spout yesterday. Virtus Pro end up 4-0ing down, where that doesn't make them any less of high-caliber players than they are. And, of course, when I say high-caliber, on Envy's side, I'm always thinking Random Noob. This guy, really, really powerful damage player.
I'm always going to be thankful to Paulie because he put Eevee back on the map at the World Championship. He played that character, and there was other good Eevee players in that tournament. Don't get that twisted, but it was Paul who kind of had the gall to pull it out and make sure that everybody knew that this is a pick that is going to be impactful. And it really, you never really know. You don't have the numbers behind it. But I think he had such an impact on that World Championship tournament because people were starting to just think and fear and maybe even ban that character out. It really was like that last-second thing to flip the table on this draft and just, introduce a little bit of doubt. Played some Bomb King yesterday. Again, not flavor of the month for 99% of the teams. Had some really good games on it. Did a ton of damage. Hard to say that was, the reason for the loss. And in these Virtus Pro Envy games, it didn't even come down to numbers for me.
Exactly.
There was crazy big KDs. Nobody really getting blown out of the water or feeding by any stretch of the imagination. Nobody really, just not showing up on damage charts or anything like that. Right. It really was, I think, and Envy seemed to have hit this nail on the head, is, strategy, approach. Like we talked about, Virtus Pro are kind of a different beast. So it could be, how do we handle this new Virtus Pro? We need to understand them a little bit more before we can, step up to the plate and knock this matchup out of the park.
Yeah, they had surprised so many people yesterday, and by them, I don't necessarily just mean Envy, but I mean Virtus Pro in general. And even
they're really
today, like they aren't playing currently, but they are just like they've been stepping it up every single day. Envy in response,
I guess it's an 8-0 week for them.
Right?
Man. That's scary, dude.
Yeah. It's been an 8-0 week. They've 4-0.
That's a good one for them to kind of be walking out of the building on Friday on. I love that.
Yeah, for sure. Envy doing extremely well in their own right too. Like and you brought up a good point, is that whenever they lose together. They always win together. Like even in just like off the book, off the camera interactions I've had with them, they're always streaming. And whenever they stream, it's always most of them in the same room, and they're always streaming the same stuff. Like they're always with Paladins, or they're always hosting each other. They're always doing this. They're like a small
family.
A family, man. Yeah, they're definitely a family.
They're a family, and that's one of the things I've always liked the most about Envy, is because they sort of have like almost a humble beginnings-ish sort of story. They were like a third-place team for a while, and then they just started to figure it out. But they did it like with that same roster. They weren't one of those teams that was just rapid-fire making roster changes and throwing people out the door and bringing new people in. I think they're good at looking inwardly and seeing, what were the mistakes that we made? What could we do better? Because a lot of times it doesn't come down to the numbers for them. A lot of these guys put up great numbers, but being able to make sure that those are impactful and the team is playing for the overall goal of winning the set rather than just inflating stats or anything like that.
Of course, yeah. And with Envy, with that same mindset, I wonder, like obviously after the 4-0 yesterday from Virtus Pro, I would imagine they would come into this just being ready to go, raring to fight against NIP and just trying to bring out all of the stops. We're going to take a look at the map bans as well, see what these guys have in store for us today. Swiss on Quarry, Frozen Guard, first two bans for both Envy and NIP respectively, followed up by Ascension Peak and Jaguar Falls.
Okay, so Jaguar Falls, somewhat surprising to see in the ban section, but to be honest, I would say this is more just like get rid of it for NIP. It's not that simple, but I'm always just like, people don't ban the pip against NIP, and then they lose. It's not that simple, but it's like that's just one more thing you have to worry about. And against a very flexible team, Jaguar Falls, I could see that being a big pain in the butt, because you can run so much on that map. It's really very, very open. And Brightmarsh, sort of the same story. That's where we're going to head first. That's probably Ninjas in Pyjamas pick, if I had to guess. They go here very, very often. They look strong on this map as well. And I believe Virtus Pro beat Envy on this map, but this was, kind of one of the better maps. I think we got to see a really great highlight of K Cruncy on that map as well. So we'll pay attention as we get through the draft here. Maeve banned away, Torvald gone, Ash taking a seat as well. That's somewhat uncommon to see banned. It's a strong pick, but it's one of those that always usually makes it through.
Right, and I would imagine that the Maeve ban along with the Ash ban followed up by that.
Look at this.
Oh yeah, the In Focus Envy logo. That's what I'd like to see. But however, let's see, the Genos ban, Torvald ban, followed by the Ash Makoa ban on NIP side. Now, Random Noob, no, he has a good Maeve as well. And the Ash itself, I also feel like will be somewhat more of a targeted ban. You don't see that. And in the first two picks, they have Makoa and Atlas.
I think it's to keep it a little bit interesting, right? NIP are like, you going to give us Makoa, or you going to give us Atlas? And then we go, we're not giving you neither.
Right, yeah.
Ban Genos. And then that becomes an interesting question, but I think NIP answer it right. If I had to take something away from Rubu, I would take Makoa. I would rather him play Atlas. I think his Makoa is just that terrifying that I'm just like, no, I don't think this is not the way to go. To be honest, I don't have a ton of memories of Rubu really playing Atlas. I think I'm very scared of Diggy's Atlas, Rhino's Atlas, and Faye's Atlas. Those are my three Atlas players that I kind of throw in the top three. Makoa players is definitely something you come to mind though when you're thinking of Rubu. So again, the right call there. Eevee for Random Noob brought that up. He sort of put that character back on the map at the World Championship. We'll see what he can do with it today. But at the moment, man, it's Atlas versus Makoa. Who got the better end of that deal through the first 2 picks?
Well, Makoa, Barrick, Furia at that. Those 3 alone, I feel like, are already strong enough in their own right. With the couple with the Inflame, could be very, very dangerous. Atlas, Eevee, I would imagine they would try and pick something for the shields. They might go for the Cassie next, or they might try and go for a healer on Bright Marsh. I'm not sure if they would try and go for the Ying, maybe. I can imagine a little bit of the throughput healing, since they're always fighting, always skirmishing so often. Those illusions could play a factor here. I'm not quite sure.
Leon Willow is where my head's at the moment. Not to say Envy are about to pick those characters.
Right, yeah.
But they're in the conversation, and I think everyone's sort of just kind of positioning around it, jockeying for, like, we want to get something in the sky here. We want to get some type of counter blaster pressure. Envy have theirs, but after yesterday, you know, I'm not ruling it out that they might go double blaster, hovering the Cassie, so maybe leaning a little bit away from that thought now.
Stranger.
Leon and Willow are both open. Strong picks for both Alex as well as Tenor. Drogos wouldn't be terrible here either. There's nothing really too difficult for him to fight into at the moment. Envy do not have their support, so Damba, Ying open, you brought up the illusions.
Right,
you know, that's just kind of fallen out of priority, I think, for them.
Yeah, I wonder if really just like after this point in time in IP, they have 2 more characters odds open. They've already locked their frontliners, their healer, and in this case, you did mention the Willow before. You did mention the Leon as well. Now, this brings up the question if they're going to try and go for it, or could just be Ron. They could try and run the triple frontline again. The con is being hovered currently, and this is something it is that we've seen NIP do. Not necessarily because it's like, oh, this is crazy. Three-man frontline meta, right? But it's because NIP is just that flexible.
And it's open.
Right, yeah, and it's open. Exactly.
At the moment. Tyra's open as well. If they want to rock with that, it worked for them yesterday. And you really kind of look across this draft for NIP and you say, well, those are 3 damn good front lines at getting kills. Barrick, it's not uncommon to see him top damage. Makoa scales very well with any bonus damage amp. Khan is one of the more consistent, has one of kind of the better weapons of the frontline class, just that very usable, very translatable sort of hit scan, little heavy repeater. It's not going to be the Tyra, it will be the Drogos. That's somewhat surprising, but I think at the end of the day, you need to you like to have some type of damage amp, and they're going to get that through Furia, so they don't need to have Furia and Tyra.
Yeah, I agree with that. Now the question is, was I correct on the Ying pick that the throughput healing would be a lot for Envy to be able to try and utilize to try and fight back? They could go for the Damba as well. Inara can work for either of those supports right now, Ying or the Mount Damba, and it seems like they will stick with the Ying for that ultimate for the Illusionary Rift and just more staying power against a triple front line, which I feel like is what you would need.
Yeah, a lot of high throughput across the board. Because if everybody gets in a 1v1, it's tough to beat, you know, some of these frontliners, especially inflamed frontliners in 1v1 scenarios. Ying doesn't have a control-based ultimate as well, so they would have had Seismic Crash and Exile and Dread Serpent, so that maybe, you know, looking to play around Resilience a little bit as well.
Well, there we go. All the teams are locked in. NIP versus Envy. We're going to throw it right down to the casters to get us into game 1.
Thank you, gentlemen. 3 games and 12 maps. 3 4-0s get us all down to our final matchup of the week. Dolson and Kresnik on the cast for you. You got Envy, you got NIP, you got one team coming off a 4-0, you got another team coming off a 4-0, but in a losing manner. Yeah. Envy looking to get something started today, going up against triple frontline with the Drogos and Furia, though. It's already a scary start for NIP.
I liked the composition by NIP because Drogos is traditionally a ban you do when you're doing triple frontline. So getting that out of the way by just getting it on your side, now they have to look at your tanks on the ground and your dragon in the air. That's a great way to take pressure off of it. I wanted to point out something that Gore told me while we were waiting for this. The last time that Envy played VP and then immediately played NIP, Envy lost to VP and then beat NIP.
Okay.
Are we ready for history to repeat itself?
We're looking towards history. I mean, if you don't study history, you're bound to repeat it. So if NIP has studied their previous loss to Envy, of course only losing 2 games in the previous split, one of them coming at the hands of Envy, as Kresnik so correctly pointed out there. Right after a loss to Virtus Pro nonetheless, so you're right, the stage is set for maybe another upset. Yeah. Iggy Dog already getting aggressive in the hook. In onto Rock Monkey. I expect to see a lot of that this game. Alex makes good on some damage on the backside for the first kill of the game onto Random Noob.
Yeah, Drogos is a really good counter to Eevee if you can keep that high ground pressure. And Diggy Dog trading there on the side, but they still have 2 tanks to kind of keep that pressure going. So good on Alex to trade out random. That's probably going to be his job throughout this game. Ruben getting picked off by Bird on the side. Looks like Envy just backing off a little bit. Random is back. He's going to have to find some pressure, but Ip's far enough back where they're not going to be able to get, he's not going to be able to get too much space.
I look towards Bittner to have another good game on this Barrack. He did a great job of it yesterday. Already starting off well today. And you're right, that Drogo's an immediate impact starting off here for NIP. 96% on the point for them. Alex very low here. Rubu gets the kill, but just a moment too late as NIP already captured point number 1 here in this case. Traded out with Bittner, but the payload's moving forward for NIP.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's doing their job on NIP so far. Rubu's trying to do what he can with the equalizing on getting the Drogos picked to maybe free up space for Random, but Random was already dead by then. There wasn't much of an impact he could do. It's so hard for an Eevee to duel into a Drogos that's just playing the high ground. He can really control that outside area, which the tanks on Envy, I think, can't really get a foot on.
Yeah, I mean, you get first pick Atlas, you're feeling happy, but then you look at the opposite side, you get Makoa, Khan, and Barrack, all with the Furia behind them. Of course, Furia means Inflame, and that's exactly what's happening now as Bittner looks to get aggressive. Rock Monkey immediately forced back up onto the high ground. Gets a little bit of healing here to top himself off. A hook as well. Off screen, maybe adds a little control. Inflame times out here. No kills for NIP, so I think Envy will be happy with that. Also trading out a kill onto Bonker. Good stabilization here from the defensive side.
Yeah, I mean, NIP need these fights to end quickly. Furia's a solid healer, but when you're only running Cherish with 3 tanks that all really need some love, it's going to be really hard to keep that healing and that health pool just up. She doesn't have the throughput that Ying has for Envy, so they're going to have a really solid advantage in these longer fights, the more sustained battles. So Envy really want to slow them down, but I mean, NIP, if they get another Inflame push like that, if they can find a kill to start it, it's going to be tougher to step inside.
Well, Inflame already to 63% used maybe just a minute or so previously. Bonker is going to get rid of Rubu here. Overpower back to 0% on the cooldown. So at least a little bit of space being made by NIP using some of those ultimates. Still Ancient Rage, still Dragon Punch. Don't need him just yet, though, as Random Noob is the next to go down. 10 seconds on 2 members of Envy. Both going to be coming up at the same time. Bird, some damage on the Fury. A lot of that in set number 1. A little bit more here in set number 2. As NIP maybe around the final corner, Envy are going to have to drop down and contest.
These staggered kills by Envy are so bad, they won't have the contest power, and Dragon Punch is going to potentially take that right out. Tulki going down while contesting the objective. Rubu makes it there just at the last second. Random coming in on the side too, but they have all the answers, NIP. Bonker's going to shoot down Rubu on the cart. Rewind's going to keep him alive for a little bit, but Hook just displaces him right off the cart, rolls straight in. NIP look like they have this matchup figured out to a T.
Yeah, it's an exit stage left there from Diggy Dog. Pulls him right out of contest range. And already, I mean, I made reference to the triple tank that NIP played yesterday, and Bittner was the guy on the Barrack, had top damage in the game already, making good on a little bit of what his team have drafted for him this time.
That was the most unnecessary flick I've ever seen. That was on an illusion.
Is there ever an unnecessary flick, though?
That one. I mean, if there ever was one, that would be case in point. Bittner running you don't really need to run anything less than standard on Barrack. I mean, Barrack is a champion that is really solid in this meta, but his build flexibility is not the highest.
Right.
Healing Station, Bowling Ball, Failsafe, all things you kind of just need. Some people are playing a little cute with boot speed, but Bittner wants to keep it standard. It's not a normal champion for him, but the way he plays, you couldn't tell that at all.
Let me just start off this fight with the hook, says Diggy Dog, right in there, onto Random Noob. He has to back off. Illusory Rift from Envy was trying to buy some space for Random Noob. Doesn't do that, though. He's back in base for another 3 or so seconds. We're able to trade out onto Bird, though, which is, I think, why this fight is starting to tilt back in Envy's favor. Rock Monkey at 100 health. Looking for one final shot, realizing he might not be in too much danger. He is now. Gets the knockback. A couple more shots would do it. Dodge rolls away. Rubu's coming in to help him out here. The overpower might just be for nothing. Tosses him out. Doesn't end up finding a kill as Rubu drops off Bonker.
Bonker definitely looks a little uncomfortable on that con. I mean, he was just in that 1v1, couldn't find the kill, used the overpower. Things were rough for him, but NIP in that chaos did manage to take back the point. Alex cycling back in here on the side, forces Random out. He has to go in to touch the objective. Actually doesn't, but it does force out the Dome Shield. Maybe Tulki can walk in and find that kill. No. Great peel on the other side. Setback cancels the Shell Shield too, so this is great for Envy. Seismic Crash doesn't connect though. NIP managed to maintain point control.
Yeah, off to the side goes the Seismic Crash. Envy at about half health on 4 of their champions right now. Flame Spit here could connect, find some damage. Lots of healing out from them. NIP up to 87%. Envy up to 99 on their side. This is going to go to whoever wins this next fight. Good exile in onto one. Alex is able to trade out his life with the Dragon Punch. Diggy Dog still alive down on the point, though, and that's all the space they need. NIP just get a kill onto Rubu, and nobody is left in range to contest. And point number 3 goes the way of NIP.
That Dragon Punch just bought so much space for them. Everyone was all the way back, and they were hanging out in tree, putting up their campfire, telling stories over the while they roasted some s'mores, and there was just no way they could get in whatsoever. The triple tank, the power from that. I mean, when you're playing triple tank, you're expecting all 3 of your tanks to be making space, but there it was just Alex just absolutely dominating that fight with the Dragon Punch.
There's one way to kick down a door, and Dragon Punch just kind of shoulder bashes it all the way. I guess that would be Ash, but in this case, Alex is the one who does it. Another kill onto Rubu. This cart's moving a lot quicker than it did last time around. Envy were able to put up a good defensive stand briefly before NIP pushed it through. 3-0 on the verge of another 4-0 start here for NIP. No ultimates ready except for the illusory rift for Envy. Another good hook in onto Rubu. He's able to get himself out, get some healing. Good second chance there from him. Keeps him alive, just poking away up from the high ground here is Alex.
Yeah, those getting a hook onto an Atlas and forcing his rewind is great. It's not really that bad because your cooldown is a lot faster, and you can see hook back up before the rewind is back, so Rubu goes down to that hook, traded out for Bonker, but Ancient Rage coming in, NIP is putting their foot to the throat. Yeah,
they gotta back off here if you're Envy, but it's not gonna be just far enough. Rock Monkey's able to roll backwards, get a kill, but he actually gets aggressive now. Dodge rolling around Bird, but he's not gonna find the kill. Rock Monkey is gone. Diggy Dog coming back from Brit base just for a moment. The Atlas wall goes down. Dragon Punch back up from Alex. He's going to make good on that one. One kill onto Rubu, and Flame as well from Alex, or from the Furia, excuse me. He's going to start this one off. Alex just pouring out damage from up in the air. Gets a kill, seals it up with a double, and 4-0 for NIP.
That Dragon Punch caused so much chaos. Once Rubu went down, Random went on an ice blocked on the cart, and Tulky dropped in, so both of them were taking the same damage. That final fight was so clean by NIP, and Envy are really going to have to form themselves up if they're going to take this next map.
God, poor Envy. I mean, you face Virtus Pro yesterday, a seemingly revitalized roster. You get 4-0'd by them, and then the card you draw is an NIP game the next day. And NIP that is also seemingly firing on all cylinders. And what a start it was for them. Yeah. Very comfortable on Bright Marsh, and it's a further example of how comfortable NIP, I think, are on any draft that you give them. Triple tank, triple damage, whatever it is, they make it look good.
I mean, triple tank has been something that they've kind of, I think, had in the pocket for a long time, and they're bringing it out in force. I mean, it is a really good draft, I think, in this meta if you get the right things around it. Getting rid of those counters, Envy didn't get a Willow, or they had the Drogos to counter the Eevee. Everything that traditionally breaks it was just not in Envy's hands. I mean,
on paper, you're comfortable. You get Rock Monkey on Cassie, you get Random Noob on Eevee. You think you're feeling good, but it was anything but there for Envy. Up 1-0 our NIP as we go into a quick break.
SteelSeries, the official peripheral provider of the Paladins Premier League.
Welcome back to the PPL. NIP taking their first game over Envy pretty convincingly on Bright Marsh. Very, very well played from them.
Definitely, man. That last second kind of pivot. I don't even know if that was their plan going into it, but when you see that draft sort of play out, and I think it was down to 7th pick-ish, maybe 6th, and Khan is still open, and you're like, well, okay, there might be a chance to kind of pivot into something like that. I won't speak to random noobs' feelings on playing Eevee into a triple front line, but I know I hate that. I love, you want to be able to like go and assassinate somebody kind of all on your own. It's something I was commending Fasheko a lot for being able to do, and it's just something that's such a pain to do against a triple front line and a Drogos. Drogos is kind of a frustrating matchup as well. Connecting those shots can be difficult. And you can almost see that reflected in the slat line here. 2 and 9, about 35,000 damage, just above where Renara was sitting. A tough matchup for Eevee.
You know, very, very hard. Even with the Cassie trying able to break through those shields, it's not even really not even enough for them to be able to break through that such oppressive front lines that NIP has drafted. But if there's one thing it is that I want to talk about, it's about how much of Bird that we saw during that game.
Yeah, he has such a crucial role in this triple frontline composition, knowing which frontline to prioritize, who needs to get that heal next, as well as he is kind of the gas pedal, right? With this Inflame, a lot of the offensive capabilities of this composition are hidden behind his ultimate. So when he hits that button, he is almost kind of the conductor, the maestro, if you will, of this composition, keeping the right people alive, realizing who can disengage, because front lines have the defensive tools that, frankly, like in a triple DPS, where they might not be able to throw up a shield or, you know, be able to get out of some of these situations. So it really is up to Bird to make sure the right people are getting heals. He's not dumping heals into late game cauterizes.
Right.
That's a big thing that I would love to start highlighting more of, just like supports knowing when it's time to heal certain targets versus like that guy might be super low, he might be in the line of fire, but if he's caught it and you just dump a cooldown for nothing, it's kind of like, well, that really wasn't very effective.
Right, exactly. And I mean, we saw it last game from Vex as well, just on VP, on Virtus, on Virtus Pro, just the awareness he had exactly playing Furia on Bright Mars specifically, that he was able to actually use that aggression, just knew when to go in, and Gore put it in a very perfect way. Once Vex was like, all right, well, the rest of the team's not following up, so I guess I'll have to clean up the rest of the kills. Map 2, getting the fish market. Now, this isn't something we normally see.
No, definitely
People don't normally either A, don't want to play on this map, or B, it's banned. Exactly.
Yeah. This is definitely an NV pick through and through. I don't know when the exact day was. For me, the most memorable NV performance is always going to be winning the World Championship on this map over Na'Vi. And not only did they win it, they looked like they just had Na'Vi stumped. Like they did not know what Na'Vi were doing. They were not themselves. And that final map, NV had just thoroughly won the victory at that point. So maybe that's what spurred them to be like, all right, this is going to be our map. And that's a great thing to have. That's a great little asset in the back pocket to be able to say, you know, nobody else really has this map. Nobody else really plays this. We always have this ace in our sleeves, so to speak, for like a rainy day if we need to get some type of map win, get momentum back. We'll see what NIP look to do here. Fish Market is one of the wackiest maps because going out and just stand this. I actually can't wait to see Io on this map. I'll just kind of side note that 100%. Being able to dump the Fox onto the objective and just kind of do your thing is going to be very, very cool to watch. If I was a frontliner here, man, I don't know what. I hate standing out on open objectives like this, knowing when it's time to get on the point in these competitive matches on Fish Market is definitely where those front lines earn their salaries. And given the way, dude, NV are drafting, they might just say, we're going to kill everyone and then make damn sure it's safe to stand on that objective. I don't think either of those front lines are going to be just AFKing point.
Right, exactly. Khan, Ash being locked on the NIP side, but the Makoa does go through. You made a perfect point, or really just brought up a point last game about how they decided to take the Makoa away from Ruvu. Now that Envy has it in their pocket, they do have the Makoa that is there. 2 more picks coming out from them. Not sure who we might see this early, but NIP already has locked the double front line. They might opt for go for another front line, and they might also opt to go potentially for a damage to try and see if they can keep that Khan Ash under control.
I think Makoa will be good because I'm pretty sure NIP are going to look to be playing pretty aggressively into Envy, and that's where Makoa is going to, I think, shine. He's not the longest range frontliner. He's got, you know, that pretty heavy gravity fall off on his shots, as well as the hook has the hook range, right? If you're fighting outside of hook range as Makoa, you are just not being effective. And a lot of Fish Market is very long range, is long lines of sight. So Rubu's definitely has his work cut out for him in terms of where he needs to be positioned. Going to be really good to peel Ash, you know, pull her out of her ultimates, pull her out of her shoulder bashes. A lot of the things he was having to deal with yesterday, he needs to now be the guy who is exacting that revenge on Ash, and he's just a character to do it. If Envy can just kind of put the gloves up, stay alive, we'll see if they look to put this barrack on the objective, put a lot of pressure on there, a la Na'Vi style. how they play this, man. That's really all it comes down to.
Exactly. They do opt to go for Eevee Barrack as well on Envy's side. The frontliner flank combo that we're seeing right now. On NIP's side, they do have quite a few characters left open. They can still lock their healer, they can still lock their damage. But if I were them, I would try, just me personally, I could see NIP going up for a Leon pick. Not just necessarily to burst those shields, but also to make sure that that Eevee doesn't have as much control of the skies or high grounds to try and punish people for going out that far. And there I am. Hey!
The kid got one. We take those, baby.
We take those. Easy money. Okay, so Cassie actually is locked as well to make sure that they don't have to deal with the Makoa Berry shields.
Yeah, Cassie's super great for dealing with those front lines. Got the it's like everyone's got their job, got their task.
Yeah.
Cassie, super great matchups against those front lines. Chunk them down with big game. Keep them at arm's length. Right, Cassie will absolutely outrange both of those front liners on Fish. Leon, great flank pressure. Keep a lid on this Eevee. Hit those huge snipes probably from distance. We'll probably see a couple of those 1,100 damage presences this game, and that is big trouble for Eevee, because if you get hit by one of those, followed up with a couple of auto aim abilities, Alex really just needs to hit one skill shot to kill you, essentially.
Exactly. There goes the Kinessa pick as well. Maldamba is being hovered, but I can pretty sure we'd imagine that to be locked as well, because he has a very, very strong way of keeping the point tanks on point, keeping them healed up, all good to go. Now, there is one open on the side of NIP. I wonder if they're going to go for the, I was about to say Furia.
Gotta go. I think this is good.
Yeah.
To be honest, the move speed here is what I'm really looking for from Inflame. I see a world where Khan and Ashe get too far out in front of Leon. Cassie, you know, when you don't have any flank pressure to put on Kinessa, it's probably going to be mostly Ashe's job to do that. There's a chance she gets a little bit too far out on a limb, kind of left alone on an island, or, you know, oversteps her boundaries. I think Inflame is really going to help. Bonus damage is good, but here I'm looking at the movement speed to really keep this comp together, keep it a cohesive, very dangerous unit.
Well, you heard it here first from Pretty Hair.
Pretty Hair, what up,
Both teams are locked. Let's throw it down to the casters.
Thank you, gentlemen. Game 2 about to kick off here on a map we don't get to see very often. Fish Market. Envy, of course, the overwhelming historical significance is this is where Envy put that world championship to bed, won themselves, the world championship last year on this map. Looking to do it again here. They get themselves a Kinessa for Rock Monkey, but going toe-to-toe with Alex and Bittner on the Leon and Cassie, respectively.
Double backline is pretty good on this map for NIP. Man, I really love watching NIP games lately because you get to see all these champions that are at, 80%, 90% ban rate, pulling out, like, getting the Makoa and Atlas a little bit more airtime than you would previously expect. But I think NIP's draft can be pretty good. This is going to fall a lot onto what angles Rock Monkey can find on the side.
Sure.
If he can make that space, if he can maybe find the openings that the tanks are leaving open. But I don't know. Oh, actually, they're going to get really aggressive. Toki ignoring the point all the way straight into the backline with Rubu.
Yeah, they're forcing everyone back right now. Bittner has to dodge roll his way out of that one. Team's kind of reversed sides here almost in a weird way. NIP back where Envy entered this arena. Toki's forced a bowling ball away here. No kills just yet. Shoulder bash. Gets Diggy Dog out and alive safely. Envy kind of sticking in this big 4 ball right now, trying to find some sort of kill, some sort of pressure. The hook just wide as Bittner's able to stay alive. Random Noob is alive as well. 6 and 9% respectively on the point right now. This is sort of an early game brawl that ends with Rock Monkey finding the first kill in the game.
Yeah, Rock Monkey was all the way back here in the spawn. That's one of the strats you can do. Have Rock really passive on your side and just wrap around and force them in. Rockery sitting back here now, 2 kills, 3 kills for him so far in this fight. Gonna find 4, but this one's more of a cleanup than anything. I like the pressure from them that pushed them into Rock. It is a good strat, one I think I've done in the past with Sanguine Gangstars. Like, back in PML, something you can do, but one that you don't see too much. Some teams kind of fall off on the snipers because it's so easy for the off tanks to get into their face.
This is going to be a hard zone to crack as well. Not sure they're going to be able to do it. 96% for Envy. Just need 2 more, and they get it. So starting off well here, they go 4-0 out of Bright Marsh, find the first point here on Fish Market. A great start for Envy. Interesting rotational strategies they use to kind of wrap around the backside of NIP. Rock Monkey already making his presence felt. First ultimates maybe starting to fly here. Random Noob and Diggy trading out 1 for 1, and Flame for NIP should set them up for success in this fight. Does just that as Bird gets another one. Diggy Dog pouring into the back of Tulki, gets the kill there as well, and Envy are going to be wiped out here, searching for a little bit more progress on the payload.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the weaknesses of the sniper on this map. I mean, he was in a decent position, but I mean, double backline, off-tank pressure all on his face. He got 2 shots off max and then just melted. But you can see these angles on this map are very different from some of the others. You can play in those weird off angles. So NIP kind of forced to hug this left side of the map, playing out of Rock Monkey's sight. And if Rock Monkey doesn't rotate soon, then NIP's going to be putting themselves into a 5v4.
I mean, that's got to be the one spot on this map where the Knessa, as he does find the pick onto Bonker, he backs up just a little bit too far. Random Noob as well gets a kill. I feel like this initial payload push is maybe the least effective part for Knessa, and then when you're pushing, you know, it's a little better. It's a long walk back. The initial mid fight is okay for a Knessa, but a bit of a downswing on the roller coaster, at least in this area for a Knessa.
I mean, it's kind of why he gets forced all, why he has to take that spawn angle.
Right.
Bunker, forgetting, I guess, that Rock was there. He was kind of a very far out, almost a non-factor until Bonker ended up walking right into his sightline. So good on Rock to stay there, stay prepared, be patient. You know, some players might just blink in and try to go for something crazy, but Rock, always a player that knows how to toe the line, knows where to be to have the most effectiveness while putting himself under the least pressure.
And honestly, I mean, even this far away from the end zone, it's almost do or die for NIP. If they get swept out here, it's such a long walk back to the payload. A good Dread Serpent gets Bonker running. Rock Monkey as well finds a good shot onto Bittner to get rid of that. Cassie still. Alex on the Leon, causing trouble. He's going to be able to manifest destiny his way off to the side. Mr. Hayes, though, finds the kill. And Bird makes 5 for Envy, as now they're fighting downhill, and NIP are suddenly at a disadvantage, having to come all the way out of base against a long-range sniper and Knessa. And Envy have a good zone in place.
I was going to say, that's exactly where you can't lose a fight. You can't lose a fight there against a sniper. And now everything should be in Envy's court unless they use some ultimates. Bonker immediately getting deleted. Looks like Envy want to commit the great hook. They want to commit the dome shield too, so 3 kills going Envy's way. Hopefully NIP don't use anything for their sake. Better economy going into this last fight. Envy, I guess, they're still good at Fish Market.
Yeah, I guess so.
Can you believe it?
Yeah, I can believe it, because it's happening right in front of my eyes, and they look very good, very comfortable. I think I agree. Use the dome shield at the end, seal it up. You got to take what you can get, especially up against NIP. Rock Monkey firing on all cylinders to start off this map. Some great kills. I believe he had all 3 of the first kills in this game, and then helped crack the NIP zone that was really in the base of Envy there towards the end. 5 streaks for Envy, 4 top damage in the game as well. NIP not really with a lot to stand on.
Yeah, I think Diggy's going to have to make a little bit more pressure onto Rock, but with Beam Me Up 5, it's going to be hard for him to find that space. If he gets onto him without forcing the transporter first, Rock's just going to get away.
Sure.
You know, if anything, Nip have to just really find a 5v4 and take it, but they're playing backed up by Rock. They're all playing on this left side, and Rock is behind them watching that sideline, so Envy kind of controlled this outer dock side for free.
Yeah, and remember how aggressive Envy got at the beginning of the last round. A little bit more of the same here as they're 3-manning, pushing NIP back towards the edge. Neither team electing to fight from the mid. They already forced Rock Monkey all the way back. You see how far back Knessa is in this case. Bonker, though, gets run down by Tulki as the rest of NIP are now forced back as the Inflame maybe tries to save some lives here. Ruben getting aggressive onto Alex. The Ancient Rage just to maybe make good. Misses the last swing. Enlightenment saves his life as Alex is able to get an assisted kill onto Rock Monkey. Bird cleans that one up. Rubu rampaging through the rest of the NIP lineup, and it looks like Envy are going to maybe win this fight.
So unfortunate, Diggy Dog had to use his assert dominance when he was so low, and this whole time, cap time has just been going up for Envy. They knew where to rotate. They've been capping the whole time. Great vertical hook by Rubu to find Bittner. Diggy's still so low, just staggering his death. Would have been Mr. Hayes' kill, but Rock Monkey decides to take it all for himself. This is an inevitability again. Alex going to contest for a little bit, but I mean, wow. There's times I mentioned, I think earlier that, maybe not this game, but in the past, that when you give up Makoa, it really is kind of a, almost a disrespect kind of thing, right? You're like, yo, if you pop off on Makoa, we'll probably lose. But we're confident that we'll either shut you down or you won't pop off. And Rubu, he's been one of the premier off-tanks in this game for so long. And at IP, I have a feeling their ban priority might change a little bit if this does keep going Envy's way.
You'd think it would. He's tied for the top streak in the game with Mr. Hayes. Of course, Tulki on the Barrack, just 1 behind. 1 assist will get him up there and tied. Mr. Hayes having a great game up to this point so far. Diggy Dog trying to shoulder bash away from danger. Random Noob, though, finds a kill. A good hook onto Alex as well. Cleans up the Leon. A double kill for Rubu around the side onto Bittner. Could make it 3 with one more shot onto Bird, and he does it. I'm going to run down all of NIP. Looking for the quad, and he gets it. The Makoa running wild here on Fish Market. And NIP already back in that awkward position.
I'm actually curious about his build. I want to see what level of Rampage he has. I want to see Rampage 3 actually. I find that interesting. He actually was the first person to start running high Surf that I've noticed.
Right.
Surf kind of became a mainstay in these builds because of the momentum carry. The pressure lets you have, but he's not going to need it to walk on this side. Ancient Rage right in Diggy's face. There's no way he's getting out of that. The Immortal on Rubu too as he walks straight to the backline.
Maybe finding a kill to end this game. Ancient Rage is 1, and that's all they need. Throw everything in the kitchen sink just to seal it up. And our first non-4-0 of the week. Envy are able to get the 4-0 on Fish Market. We're tied up at 1 now. At least we're going to a Game 5 for the first time this week. And Envy, a lot more comfortable on Fish Market from what we saw yesterday.
Yeah, maybe that'll help the teams with that break that we're going to get to on Game 4, right?
Yeah, right.
That break that no team's gotten. Maybe that was the turning point they always needed. But still, Envy looking much better on that map. That's a map that teams usually ban against them. So them getting back to that comfort is got to be a nice. I mean, your first map you've taken in 2 days has got to be a good feeling.
Yeah, it's a weight off the shoulders.
Oh, yeah.
I think. I mean, there's so much going against you yesterday. You know, in the back of your mind, we got NIP then the next day, and they do well. 4-0 on Fish Market. Now NIP are the ones on the back foot, but nonetheless tied up at 1-1. Game 3 right after this.
iNap, powering the control room for the Paladins Premier League.
Welcome back to the PPL, guys. Envy clapping back with a 4-0 of their own. Now the score being 1-1. Envy, if there was anybody that you would consider to try and fight back against NIP, it'd be them.
Yeah, absolutely, man. What a performance. Again, Fish Market, I think a great map for Envy and kind of a question mark for a lot of other teams. They certainly look like they know what they were doing there. A lot of big factors going into it. A couple of big plays, a couple of big players. But I think the biggest thing was, again, this is that family unit of Envy. I think they're playing very, very well together. One big thing I want to talk about is Rock Monkey, but you have to sort of look at the effect that uncontested sniper had. One concern I had for Rubu was, can he stay in range and be relevant and be effective? And I think when you have so many people so worried about peeking certain lines of sight and peeking out, you get a lot of people clumped up, maybe a little bit more hesitant to kind of push out. Corralled, if you will, is maybe a good word for it. And I think Rubu was able to punish that phenomenally.
Yeah, if there was ever a time to see what it would be like to let this man's Makoa run free, it'd be right here where he got the young quadra kill, completely uncontested whatsoever, being in the right spot at the right time, just showing just how dangerous he is with that character.
Yeah. I don't know if we got the chance to speak at the loadout. It looks like that may have been Surf 5, which is a shell spin length card. So he really, really cleared a lot of distance. That's pretty important for some of those maps. That's one of the cool things about Paladins is, like, yes, Makoa struggles on longer lines of sight, on wider open maps, but you can tweak loadouts, you can do all these things, maybe pick a different talent, and you can make different characters work with different play styles. One of the cooler things about the game, for sure, Rubu just under Rock Monkey for top damage as well. That is That's a hell of a sight to behold, given the struggles with range that Makoa can sometimes run into.
Yeah, there you go. We see Rock Monkey and Rubu, both of them in the 50,000s in terms of
12
damage.
and 1.
12, 1, and 11. 8, 3, and 7 for Rock Monkey, both of them respectively. But can't count out Mr. Hayes as well with the 21 assists. All of them on Team Envy and the positive numbers. Meanwhile, NIP struggling a little bit with the negatives. Bunker, not a single kill. Neither Alex.
Yeah, man. Tough stuff. 0-8 for Alex. But again, part of Fish Market is working around those lines. Fun fact, you can actually get out all the way out on those docks to Rock Monkey's left and actually play from there. But, having to play around these lines of sights, being very conscious of where Rock Monkey is and where he can see, I think that was part of the reason Rubu was able to, do what he did to NIP. If everybody has to be so careful about peeking certain things, or they have to stick to one part of the map, because Rock Monkey doesn't have an angle there.
Right.
That's where Rubu comes in, and he kind of abuses that advantage. It's a give and a take. It's a family. It's a unit. They are gonna win together and they're gonna lose together. But all the cylinders need to be firing if NB is going to find success.
Yeah, for most of that game, though, we saw that Rock Monkey was pretty much just overall uncontested. No one could really get back to where they needed to be. Not enough flanks, or really just no flanks in general, to be able to deal with that pressure that Knessa was able to exude.
Yeah, Knessa's hard, too, because even if you send an Ashe to, dive it, she still has Transporter. So I think ideally, Shoulder Bash gets you to Knessa. Knessa transports. You're W-keying in the direction you're assuming she's transporting, and then maybe... It sucks to solo ult her, but that's kind of it. If your job is to shut down Knessa, Knessa's got a great reposition ability and can be difficult to lock down. You saw Rock Monkey was up in some really wonky areas in Fish Market. It's so tough to lock that down, and I think that's the biggest reason for the Envy success.
Drogo's ban coming out first for Envy on Ice Mines. We see Drogo's quite a bit just in general with the combustible talent, mainly, not necessarily worm jets. I feel like it's combustible brought out more often on Ice Mines.
On Ice, yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I feel like that was the case. We see it a lot as well. A lot of those small rooms, those lot of long ways can also be very, very, because it's harder for teams to group up in a good spot.
What it really comes down to, I think, the skybox on Ice Mines, the invisible wall that keeps you from flying above it, where the playable area of Paladins ends. It's just not worth imagine if you couldn't kind of bounce around the rooftops, get over stuff on Stone Keep. Probably wouldn't run worm jets there either. On Serpent Beach, if you couldn't get above the waterfall where people are always playing around, probably wouldn't see him played on Serpent Beach either. It's it really comes down to just where can you fly with worm jets, and if you can't fly super high to the point where people can't reliably hit you anymore, then combustible becomes a pretty good option.
Right, exactly. Willow is banned secondly on Envy's side, with Torvald gone on NIP's. Sort of thinking over a little bit as to who else they might go for in terms of banning right there. They're trying to make sure that things are actually going how it is. Oh, okay, there we go. All right, yeah, they actually ended up switching it. Sorry, guys. NIP was on the left side, Envy was on the right. NIP decided to ban Drogos and Willow. Torvald is being banned on Envy's side, and Envy is the one that is currently considering who else to go for.
This is not surprising. This is a very, very different approach to the ban phase from NIP. Getting rid of both of the top-tier blasters at the moment leaves open a ton of frontline, which is usually the biggest conversation. So Envy has to be very careful. Frankly, there is so much open. They have to be careful that not only is they're going to get Makoa or Atlas or whatever it is that we're going to take first, Envy can respond with, Atlas Con or whatever else was open, and then there might still be something valuable open in that third phase of picks, going back to NIP. So Envy had to think 2-3 steps ahead in this draft to make sure they were really, really looking at all their options and what NIP are also going to be getting in their second phase of picks. Given the picks here for Envy.
Yeah, they opt to actually lock in the Atlas. Barrick being hovered, but we can pretty much expect him to actually be locked in. They need a strong point presence on Ice Mines to be able to do that. They got rid of the Inara, which is something you don't see often, but I can respect it and also a little bit understand as to why they would get rid of it, especially on Ice Mines. Having having a strong point tank, having too strong of a point tank can be really detrimental to the opposing team on Ice Mines.
Definitely could. NIP looking for the pip early without an Inara there, that activatable on-demand, really two sources of CC immunity from Earthen Guard and from her ultimate seismic crash. usually ends up being a tough situation for Pip. I think people have caught on to Tenor. They are starting to react fast enough with Inara to not get polymorphed into Evil Mojo. His team makes fun of him for still trying it every once in a while.
Look how hard you're trying.
But it is
How
still going to be effective
embarrassing.
against Atlas and Barrack. Neither one of them
Form up
have
and
that
follow me in.
instant activatable. Like you can if you hear the wind-up cue, that's the thing. The audio for Evil Mojo, it's kind of like, okay, here it comes, and then you have a second to do something. You could dome shield preemptively. Atlas might be able to like stasis field it and just delete it from the game. But Tenor is an incredible pit player and definitely expect some of those to land.
Yeah, so far it's pretty much their only calling card right now. I could imagine if Envy wanted to lock in somebody, they might go, like NIP's team is very, very aggressive, and they're known for playing very aggressive comps, really just flexing on whatever it is they feel like. But the thing is that in Envy's case, I feel like I could see, I was about to say Ying, but also just in general, I feel like they might try and go for, I don't know, they might also try and go for like a little bit of damage here. Ying offering that staying power, and they also need Cassie to be able to break through those shields.
Yeah, Ying is solid on Ice Mines, man. It really comes down to there's a lot of line of sight breaks to hide clones behind. The range in which you have to heal over is not so crazy that you need that Mending Spirits from Dom to be able to reach, things like that. And also, Illusory Rift on this map is great because sometimes you have to traverse that great distance. If you get picked off at the start of a fight and your team's kind of still going when you respawn, you can pop Illusory Rift, gas them back to full HP, and Dimensional Link across the map. NIP might be looking to go back to this triple front line. I mean, they have their damage amp.
Yeah.
They have their Evil Mojo. They have ways to get kills. That's usually the biggest thing. On its own, triple frontline sometimes doesn't have the damage to stay competitive, but given how much of a cage match the Ice Mines point fight can be, I think it's definitely viable.
Okay, well then, yeah, they do opt to go for the Furia as well. Now, I don't know if this is the exact same call we saw before. The Pip wasn't in there as well, but on Bright March, we see that this triple front line is normally complemented extremely well by Furia when you have these tanks really lined up. These frontliners are really strong. The Bomb King is being hovered here. Not quite sure if they're going to try and opt in to lock this one. I feel like would you feel like this would be a good pick? I feel like they would need to be able to just rely on some other people more than Cassie.
It's got good control, right? Good initiation,
Right.
which is something Envy are a little bit lacking right now. They don't have like a a seismic crash or a Dread Serpent or something like that. You could try to do with Exile, but it would be tough. So I think they need a big team fight ultimate. Bomb King matches up pretty well with Khan, and I think does decent-ish against Ashe as well. You can Poppy Bomber out of ultimates and things like that. It's going to be tough for Random Noob, I think, just to chunk through. If somebody gets in his face, it'll be difficult. If he can play nicely behind an Atlas, get behind a stasis field, and kind of just, throw some punches at some of these frontliners, Bomb King traditionally has been a pretty good answer to the front. He might go chain reaction, too. We might see that. That could be something that he whips out.
True. Now, in this situation, compared to Envy and NIP, especially on Ice Mines, whose comp do you like just a little bit more?
I think triple frontline is just so consistent.
Right.
This time around, instead of like a Tyra like they had yesterday on Some Keep, they actually have Pip, which is this huge, big, bursty auxiliary heal in the big area of effect. They have the Khan Battle Shout as well. A lot of sustain for NIP this time.
Well, you heard it here first from Pretty Hair this time. Throw it down to the casters. Get us into game 3.
Thank you, gentlemen. Ice Mines is where we're headed. It's going to be a fun one. Another triple front line for NIP. Little Bomb King action for Random Noob on the Envy side as well.
And honestly, I don't know how much success it's going to have because, we
Which
talked
one?
about the Bomb King.
Bomb King.
Because we talked about how Bomb King kind of falters under really heavy aggression. And, look at that nib composition.
Yeah.
That's Ashe, Makoa, Khan being inflamed, chasing down Evil Mojo and targets. Like, that is really aggressive. So, if anyone can make it happen, it's going to be Random. Bomb King's been one of his signature champions for a long time. But, man, tanks are good on Ice Mines, and Nip's got more.
They do. At a total score of 3 tanks to 2 tanks, NIP does have more in this case. That's something you pointed out, actually, is the dismount attempts from the supports rounding that gate there. Not sure if Bird ended up catching any, but at least throwing some shots through. Oh, no, Alex getting locked up there. He's able to get himself out, actually. Random Noob, though, does end up finding the first kill onto NIP. The Bomb King now free to fire from this backline here as Alex dashes his way out of this one. Dicky Dog catches one too many bombs on his digress, and Envy are fighting from the point with 9%.
Honestly, the fact that they picked Pip with it would normally be a great choice, but Tenor is traditionally their third tank. What a shot by Rock. Great big game confirmed. Now Bird is really split. They're just going to ignore him, though. He's not the
Yeah, why
priority.
not?
I mean, Hayes is just going to kill him from point, I
From the
guess. I mean,
point.
if it's going to be that free. But normally Tenor would be the one flexing to the third tank, but because the Pip is on the field,
true.
it has to be Tenor on the Pip. It has to be Alex flexing. Alex getting stunned at the start ate up all their heals, which I think led to Nips like just faltering in that fight.
Already on the back line. As unforgiving as Ice Mines is, Envy make good on it to the tune of their first point in this one. Bonker is going to shoulder bash his way to safety. Like you said, these small micro moments make the biggest difference on a map like Ice Mines when one slip up, one lost team fight can flip everything around. And then the follow-up. Envy looks so good on it. Good shots from Rock Monkey. Top to bottom, everything looks good. Good King Bomb into Alex. Rock Monkey's the one who ends up finding the kill. Poppy Bomb out, but Diggy Dog hits the long-range shot to clean up Random Noob, and Envy are a little staggered out here, and they're going to have to back off.
As far as Random found that kill, I mean, he was king bombing in front of them. Nip just did not want to kind of push they didn't want to push the gas to get onto him. Does manage to kill Alex, but he will be coming back before anything happens. Nip, a few ultimates online, almost, I mean, most of them basically except Ancient Rage coming up very soon, so a bit of a stalemate here as both teams are either looking for an ultimate engage or just someone to get a little bit too low.
Envy can't really afford to get pushed back too much further. Time and time again, we see Payload return to the start. Assert Dominance immediately hooked out, though, as Random Noob. Bittner finding the kill. Assert Dominance is going to time out here. They realize that one Bomb King down is all Envy need to as a cue to back off here, and they do just that. Pop the scout for Envy just to try to find out where some people are. Bit of a disjointed fight here, though. The Dome Shield as well forces NIP back now. The Exile onto Alex gets him out of the fight, laying a trap now. Is Random Noob. He could execute him right when he gets out of it. Doesn't do it this time, and everyone escapes with their lives.
Yeah, Rock Monkey settling in here on this side. Good ult usage by Envy, I think, to stop it. They have enough time to build them up if this goes to overtime, so a little bit of a gamble on that, but Envy, after that last game, they're playing real confident. Rock Monkey forcing Bonker out. Gonna get chased, but now it's a number advantage towards Envy and main. I'd love to see them just push their advantage, and it looks like they are.
Yeah, with 4 ultimates, though, NIP have a lot to hold back with, but Random Noob, he finds a little bit of space, finds himself a double, looking to get aggressive, maybe for the triple, and he finds it with the reverse shot onto Bittner. Toki cleans up the rest of NIP, and now Envy are rounding the final corner. They only have a King Bomb, but NIP have a good few 4 ultimates to defend with as well. Envy, though, great fight to pull this one back.
I mean, that's the ideal for the BK. I mentioned that he's going to falter under the aggression, and you could kind of see it at the start of the first mid. But when everybody on NIP is looking at somebody else, and Random gets to free fire, that's where this pick is going to pay off. So if Envy can keep synchronizing like this and keeping pressure off of Random, this could keep going their way, but triple tank with defender advantage. So much trading on the card. Toki has to go down early, going to go real low. Managed to touch the OT with Rubu, but they don't have any sustain left on the cart, really.
Yeah, the second chance gets the Atlas up and away from danger here. Envy still hanging in there. Might be able to delay just in time for Toki to get back into this fight. Bonker goes low. Random Noob finds a kill, but he's out of position as Bittner finds the blast shot. The AoE around the corner cleans that one up. Alex as well onto Rubu, and that's all NIP need. Envy have 4 ultimates back. NIP have 5 going into this next mid.
I didn't really like NIP having someone contesting the cart there. I think they could have let it get a little bit further and then forced their composition into just getting overwhelmed by the health pool. But, I mean, it still ended up trading off. Bonker put in enough work on the point to let him get that cleanup kill. And this map is very big. Just in case anybody doesn't know, this is a very big map. So it took them too long. It took them too long to get back to the fight to get that recontest, leading to Nip's defense.
Random Noob so comfortable on this Bomb King, honestly, and I love watching him play it. Bomb King has been somewhat out of the meta here as of late, but Random Noob is kind of the guy who's taken up that Bomb King mantle. At 6-3-3, looking pretty good. Rock Monkey undying up to this point in this game as well. Actually, relatively few deaths across the board for Envy. Capture the first fight, only lose a few. The defense looking for some dismounts here as Mr. Hayes actually catches a few, and now NIP are a little bit late to the party.
And that's going to be a big weakness of their composition. I mentioned how important dismounts are in triple tank. If they're not in your face, they are on the back foot. Alex managing to find pressure on the point, though. Look how far back Envy have to play. They just don't want to let them get in, but they're going to go for an engage here. Might be able to catch Diggy, but Ancient Rage counters it. Illusory Rift 2, massive evil mojo, but they're all going to live because of the Illusory Rift.
Oh my, what a setup there from Envy. They stay alive throughout the fight. They have to drop the Dome Shield. The Inflame now is what's up for NIP. A good setback delivers Diggy Dog right into the waiting arms of Rock Monkey. He's still alive now, 10 streak, and just a few awaiting members of NIP have to back off here. Alex using the Battle Shout, a little bit of extra healing for him around the side, but Bird is gonna fall. No more healing for you. Toki cleans that one up. And after a tumultuous start, Envy, they cauterize the wounds, they stay alive, and they win the fight.
Yeah, wow, what a turn there. Great illusory from Mr. Hayes to
Wow.
protect all those chickens. I mean, it happened before, but still unfortunate. Random, though, getting a little bit aggressive zoning here. Doesn't go for the debt. Guess I think he just wanted to maybe stagger the kill stall him out, but still, Diggy is in position to touch now. No Ancient Rage means that it might not confirm to anything, but Envy's backing up. They want to deal with Tenor, who's all the way back there in the back.
Bittner's in the back line as well, about half health. Rock Monkey finds the kill here. Now staggered out. Envy, despite being ahead on the payload, have to retake. They all peeled back to deal with Bittner. NIP are able to get themselves back into a favorable position here. A bit even, split right down the middle as this fight. They're without Bittner just for a few more seconds. Envy with 93% on the point, getting Diggy Dog as well. You still have a couple more frontliners, but they're all falling down to 1/3 of your 3. It's gonna be on to Bonker to try to get a touch, but he has no help damage-wise, and the last front line goes down, and it looks like Envy are going to get their second point of the game.
That was all in the back of a fantastic setback by Rubu,
Yep.
getting Diggy as he was rolling out towards the mines area, so that initial pick. Once you have the numbers advantage against Triple Tank, yes, they have the 2 tanks better for a passive situation, but not for how aggressive Nip need to play this. Unfortunate little side effect of the Atlas shield. It does not go into the floor, so getting splashed by the pips under it, but they recognize that, back up a little bit. Things settle down.
This is where Envy will look to stay on the gas, using the King Bomb to try to open this door a little bit, and Flame counters a little bit of it out. They're able to burst down Alex, assert dominance right onto 3 chickens. Are they able to find any kills? One of them's able to get out alive. Only Tolkien gets traded out here. Bonker with the assert dominance is able to find the kill. Bonker has to now shoulder bash out. Mr. Hayes as well doing a little bit of damage for his team as Rock Monkey and Ranmanoob back off around this back corner. A bit of an even fight here, but it's NIP who are on the point and Envy who have to back off.
Random needs to be a little bit more careful here. He's top deathing because of him leading into these fights. He knows that he can't let them take it into him, but he has to let his tanks do a little bit. Tolkien wanted to dome shield there, I think, but gets hooked in. Could not get it off in time. Great damage. Alex barely surviving. Envy still want to keep this pushing because they do not want to let NIP get into the driver's seat.
Yeah, it's still moving forward. Still have the dome shield. Tolkien unable to use it. Rock Monkey having himself a game, an 18 streak. Believe Undying up to this point. Random Noob with 8 streak burning away for himself as well. And NIP are going to get a little bit staggered out here. 8-0-11. That was correct for Rock Monkey. Random Noob adds another one. Big 1v1. Rock Monkey with the help of Rubu ends up winning that one. 9-0-12 is where he stands after the first 3 points in this game. Mr. Hayes 4-1-18. The more attractive slash lines are all in favor of Envy. NIP hanging in there though.
Wow. Envy is just playing this clinically. I mentioned that, like I said, Bomb King can struggle under the aggression. They're just baiting them in so hard.
Yeah.
They're burning them with big game, forcing
Big game is
cooldowns
huge.
really early. Big game is just, I mean, he hasn't died. A big game Cassie against Triple Tank that never dies, that is terrifying. And Tolkien knows how important it is. Going to make a lot of room from here in the top left. Letting him walk in. Maybe they'll get the cleanup on this Exile, but Moxie manages to get him away from that just for now.
And Random Noob as well gets cleaned up. Looks like a losing fight for Envy. They're going to be keen to that. Maybe just try to hold up this high ground as long as they possibly can. Down goes Tolkien from the high ground, nearly actually getting cleaned up as Diggy Dog. Smartly into the shield almost immediately. 8 seconds left. Might be able to get in and get a touch on the payload here. It's going to be Tolkien on the low ground who's going to draw that card. Good setback. Does open the door here as overtime begins for Envy. Drops the turret as well. First kill might just decide if this goes in or not. Lots of low members on NIP right now. Diggy Dog gets a little bit too aggressive, a little bit too far forward as Random Noob and Mr. Hayes combine for 2 kills. And with Diggy Dog and Alex being those 2 deaths, there was nobody left to contest for NIP.
I mean, Fury with Triple Tank is so good when you can set the pace, but it's all in Envy's hands. I mean, they're walking right into them. The sustain is just not there when the pace is not in your favor. This was that setback saved by the illusory rift earlier. This is
I'm so sad.
you gotta feel for Diggy there.
Yeah.
I mean, it was such a good Ancient Rage, but completely countered by the ultimates from Envy. Just such good
well
play.
played.
They really must have looked at the games from yesterday and decided that they're not willing to get walked at anymore. They want to be the ones who decide how the games go from here on out.
Arguably one of the best Evil Mojos I've maybe ever seen onto 4 members of Envy, but they're able to back off around the corner, stay alive. Good wall as well from Rubu on the Atlas, blocks some follow-up damage. They're up 3-1 here on Ice Mines, looking to take the lead in this set over NIP. They're able to do that with a win here. Getting some dismounts is Mr. Hayes, only 1 maybe returned from Bird here. Envy at an ultimate disadvantage though. NIP should be hitting the gas pedal first and staggering Envy off.
See Alex playing on the side. He wants an overpower. Will he go for an Untitled? No, Stasis Field will block it, so it bought them some time. They're going to engage with the King Bomb. Assert Dominance blocking it means he has to kind of stall it out. Only one ultimate used by NIP and 3 used at Lowe's, 2 excuse me, for them. Evil Mojo, though, coming in, finding a ton of cleave. Everyone has to back up. This is the first time NIP have looked good on a mid-fight.
Bittner finds the first kill, and Flame is going to look to pad those stats just a little bit extra. Ancient Rage as well from Diggy Dog. He gets aggressive in onto Rock Monkey. Could be his first death of the game, and he finds it for the Cassie. And NIP with fast cap, a couple kills in their belt, look poised to take their second point of this game. Maybe some exiles. It does come out from Rubu, but the rest of the kills are all for NIP, making it double confirm with the hook. Well played. And NIP sealing this one up. We're going to get their second point in the game, pushing to tie it.
That feels so good when you kill someone with a hook. You just see the ragdoll flop over like just a anchor to the head concussion leading to that, but NIP firmly in control of that mid-fight. The ultimate economy was just so in their favor, and they even have more to spare. Rock Monkey getting overpowered. That's another death for him in quick succession. Big game being out of it means all these tanks are going to be able to get really aggressive on this high ground.
Floodgates are opened. NIP are glad to take up that space. Tolki's already down to about half health. Diggy Dog needs to be careful. Lots of damage to be returned from the Bomb King if he takes too much of that. Wrapping around the right-hand side here, Alex trying to control what's happening on this bridge. Actually gets delivered right into the waiting arms. 62 health is what he was left with. Random Noob, though, finds the attack, finds the kill, and Alex is back to base. Good defense here from Envy as Bonker trades one out. Assert Dominance not ready just yet. Tolki actually using the Dome Shield to try to stagger out the rest of NIP.
Tolki's got plenty of time to charge another one, so not a big deal, I think, using that already at 10% with plenty of time to go. I think Alex's inexperience on Khan might show more and more as we get to late game. Khan's shield management is so key to his survival.
Sure.
It's without it, he just melts, unless he, other than having that, long cooldown on the shout. So if Alex isn't able to use his shield properly, that's going to keep happening. I mean, it burnt. He immediately got setbacked while he was shouting because he didn't save it for the setback. And that led to the pick that put Envy in this really forward position, and it looks like they want to go for an exile. I'm not sure who's even peeking for that. Maybe they're just buying some time.
It's reset down to a quarter of where it was before, so I think just saving one shot is the way that pans out. Finds a few, just trying to keep NIP from moving too far forward here. NIP, of course, with 4 ultimates. Envy with 3, charging some up. Good hook from Diggy Dog, forces the bowling ball out from Tolki. The shielding's not enough here. Still stuck in the mid ground. Plenty of time, plenty of space for Envy to stay alive. Lots of good damage from Bittner's going to get a good follow-up from Alex. Rock Monkey, though, trades one back. Actually very aggressive in the back line. It would have been huge if he was able to turn around onto Diggy Dog there. Random Noob likely to be the final stagger here. They're going to take their sweet time and commence their push.
Honestly, that fight was decided by Bonker. He came through mines into the backline. No healing, no real damage could come out from it. That's why everybody on Envy got forced forward. I think that's why Rock Monkey ended up in the backline. So not only was Bonker pressuring the backline, but he was capping the whole time. I mean, think about how far the cart was a second ago. Now we're at the last corner, which means capturing this isn't completely out of, it's an option for NIP.
Absolutely there. Good assert dominance up onto the high ground. That's where Envy will be locked off. Diggy Dog's been hitting these hooks all game, keeping Tolki about as awkward as he can. Has to shell spin out, though. Everything's building up for a successful final fight. Just enough return damage onto Diggy Dog forces the shell spin out. And successful defense there for Envy.
You'd think with 3 tanks you would have someone who can touch the objective, but apparently that is not the case here. Diggy, I think, going to cart a little bit too early. You know how much tank burn there is. You have to be a little more cautious if your health pool. I mean, even as a tank, you think you're going to be able to last, but against that composition, it's just not there.
15 seconds.
Quick look at the item status here. 4 Resilience 2s for Envy. We've already seen that Bittner has the potential of hitting 4 people with an Evil Mojo, so simple math there for Envy. I mean, again, healing looking good for Mr. Hayes up to this point. Although the overall healing numbers with a Pip and a Khan on your team, I think are going to end up being in favor of NIP. Get an extra 60, 70,000 padded onto the back of it here. Maybe a final team fight if Envy are able to win this one.
Yeah, early Pyre Strike knocks down Random, but Resilience means he could just stay right in the fight. Actually, different play from Envy this time. They're taking stage, which is going to keep Alex and everybody forced in there. Tenor comes in with the Evil Mojo, but the illusory appeals for them. No picks from that. Tenor has to run away. Moxie, not enough to keep you alive. He has to hide. Ancient Rage and Rubu's face means a pick goes in the way of NIP, but Envy, still look like they're in the driver's.
Yeah, and a hook down to the low ground. Diggy Dog hitting yet another one onto Tolki. But now the Makoa's off to an awkward spot. They might be able to follow up with the kill here. Bittner has to back off. Diggy Dog actually holding his own despite the health bar being so low. They didn't use the King Bomb yet. He's looking for it now. He's just trying to get out of danger with this one. Random Noob does it. I think he might have been able to get out of danger. Poppy Bomb or something. Nonetheless, though, no King Bomb as the end of this fight maybe looms here for Envy with 75%. One pit could seal it. Bonker has to shoulder bash his way out. Random Noob holding down this right-hand side. Alex, the first death here. Rock Monkey continuing his tear. Toki as well with the kill onto Diggy Dog. Only one of your 3 tanks remains. Envy rounding the final corner. A triple kill from the Barrack. Looks like it's just going to seal it for Envy.
Wow, I mean, what a good mid-fight from them. I love the adaptation they had playing on that left side, controlling that stage. They knew. They just conditioned NIP to be playing in that cabin, and then last fight, suddenly the person who's doing all the damage has every sightline in the world on you. So good by Envy.
Wow.
And honest, I think that was a lot on Alex, too.
Yeah, tough game. Tough game. I mean, game 1 that we saw NIP win convincingly was Bittner flexing onto the Barrack. Looked great, 4-0 for NIP. Of course, Alex, as you point out, is the one who's on the con this time and not quite as comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, he was the first death in that last fight. I think he was the first death both times, actually. Wasn't he? Was the first death to Rock on the side, and then he was the first death later when he recommitted. So maybe thinking he can get away with a little bit more when he's on that tank.
Yeah.
I know they feel OP when you're against them, but I promise it takes a little bit more to pilot it than that.
That's right.
Got to feel good for Envy.
Yeah, absolutely. After a 4-0 day yesterday, now leading in this set 2-1 over NIP. It's going to be a fun one. Next game right after this.
Alienware, the official PC provider of the Paladins Premier League.
Looking back at the good times before it all went down. Climbed right up on the hillside. A different view of my life. You left me running on and on. But I don't care, would you let me in? You said goodbye like everything's gone. Everything that we could have been. But I know you are my liability. Yeah, I know you are my liability.
Welcome back to the PPL, guys. I'm Fawn here with Pretty Hair once again. Envy having broke the tie now that they're up 2-1. Very, very interesting play coming out from them on Ice Mines.
Yeah, I think they did a phenomenal job dealing with NIP there. And a lot of those fights, especially the one very early on, triple Eva Mojo, you kind of think the fight's over for NIP.
Right.
Mr. Hayes keeps it all together with Ying. That's their only real support, ultimately. I think probably could have pulled that off as well. And NIP were just living or dying by their big ultimate cooldowns in those fights. And if they couldn't get a ton of value for those, it became very, very difficult. I also think Rubu played phenomenally on the Atlas. That was something I wanted to look out for. You had, Diggy on the Makoa versus Rubu on the Atlas, the two power picks, 1 and 2 in the draft. So it really, really was leaning a lot on, who's going to get big value out of their power pick.
Yeah, I mean, we take a look at the post-game stats here as well. Rubu going 5-5 and 21. Mr. Hayes following up closely behind 5-3 and 28. All of these guys immensely positive. 2 of them reaching double digits, but all of them with the double-digit assists. They all were helping each other out pretty effectively during that game.
Such a safe composition to run as well. A little bit of a different style of triple front line in the sense that Tenor normally has been playing like Barrack a decent amount. He's normally playing that third front liner as opposed to Alex. That is a little bit of a switch up. Everybody got kind of run over a little bit. The KDs weren't great from NIP, but again, it comes down to more of I'm seeing a ton of clutch rewinds or setbacks from Rubu's Atlas. I'm seeing good use of Exile. A lot of those tools are so critical to Envy staying alive, whether it's the stasis field, exiling a couple people, setting one of those frontliners back, and not giving them the chance to get out of combat and reset. Atlas's kit is really a big part of like how Envy were able to survive that big initial onslaught every time of this 3 front line is going to try to just, crash over you like a tidal wave, and Atlas is a great guy to kind of stop that.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. You mentioned it very, very in the beginning before we had actually started looking at the game of Envy versus NIP on Ice Mines about how Atlas can be so powerful overall because of the fact that his divider can just stop anything. It's not like a shield. You can't break.
Can't break it. You got to wait it out. It's one of the unique things about his kit. And, when there's certain things that, like a triple front line, it's just going to be wherever it wants to be. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way their kits work. That's the way their ultimates work. Like, whatever ground they want to take, you can't stop them right away.
Right, exactly.
They can take that ground, sure, but Atlas just kind of like picks you up. He says, "Good job for you. You got that." And he kind of like shuffles you. You're the chess piece, and he just kind of, he's the master. He's the player on the board. He's kind of moving everything around and making sure you're not too out of line. Great control from Rubu exhibited on Atlas. Again, it comes down to the bans on Ice Mines. Here in the bans on Shattered Desert, NIP are leaving a lot of front lines open. Do they go back to what they just ran with this triple front line? Do they try and tweak it to get Tenor off of a front or back onto a front line, so to speak, and then Alex onto one of those backline carry roles, whether it's like a Tyra or something else that can be kind of supportive? Because they haven't been losing when Tenor was on the front line. That was just one instance. It's hard to say that was the cause, but Alex traditionally not playing those frontliners.
Right, now here's what's interesting about this, that I see NIP going for, really opting for the ban on both Maeve, on Cassie, Envy in response, banning both Torbal and Genos. What that tells to me is that they don't want to have to deal with the added pressure of potentially whether they be shields being broken, or they don't want somebody to be comfortable on Envy's side to be able to just have that Cassie sit back and do the damage it is they need to.
This is cool. I like this better because I think in this particular matchup, I am most scared of Diggy's Atlas and Rubu's Makoa. So this is like some of my favorite games in memory to watch have been the ones where everybody gets everything they want and they just slug it out with their best characters. And they're running around with full confidence. Nobody's really has any excuses. Everybody is just getting in there and getting it done to the peak ability of that character. So, and this has been, everyone's taken Makoa first so far. Nobody's really tried to grab this Atlas and kind of see how that works, how that plays around it. Could be a factor of Rubu's Atlas last game was that good where he was frustrating Diggy at moments, and Diggy said, you know what, I'd rather have Atlas.
Right, yeah.
I just saw how he beat me with Atlas when I was on Makoa. Let me show him how I do it on Atlas.
And the question is that whether they can actually handle Rubu's Makoa as well. We already saw it before, the young Quadrico on Fish Market. He's a very, very dominant player in general, no matter what off-tank you give him. And the one thing you don't want him to be as comfortable. However, I do agree with the fact that they do want to pick Atlas. They do want to make sure they at least cut that possibility of them being able to pick whatever they feel like in half.
And frankly, it's never as that big of a vacuum as Atlas versus Makoa in the 1v1. Makoa is probably going to be looking to largely ignore Atlas. I don't think Makoa has a great matchup versus Atlas. Atlas hits like a truck. Makoa is huge, easy to headshot as well. On top of the fact that you get hooked out of position, you just rewind back.
Right,
like,
exactly.
You're goody. It's like very not something you're worried about. Makoa shell spins away. You can set him back to bring him back into harm's way. If it ever comes down to that vacuum 1v1, I would lean it sort of the way of Atlas. Atlas controls front lines. Makoa wants to pick the backliners, and he wants to pick off those squishier targets and just bully people.
Here we go with the Furia in this case. We are on Shattered Desert. So the thing that's interesting here is that they have locked Atlas, Barrack, Furia. The only time it is that we've seen Furia be picked in this situation is when they try and run the triple front line. Now, I don't think that's what they're opting to go for here in this case. I feel like they just want to be able to have the aggression, and they have, exactly. They have the threat of not only triple front line, but just the fact that they already have a really strong lineup just off of those 3 characters alone.
And Envy will grab their second front line as well. Not because they need to, because they want to keep this final slot open to really get the full look at NIP's composition before they make their decision.
Huh?
Before I dive in, I'll wait for that to be locked in before we dive in.
Yeah.
There's definitely viability there.
No, yeah.
Very, very niche pick. If you can do it, you can do
it. Come on, please.
Maybe.
For me, NIP, come on.
If it's going to be
No.
the triple front, Moji has a couple of things that she does bring to that table. The Toot Cloud, giving some extra sustain, extra movement speed, also pretty important to get these big boys kind of around the map on time for them to be effective. But it's not. It's going to be a more traditional style. This is that tweak that I brought up earlier on in the draft where Alex will play this Tyra. Most likely, I'm 90% sure, and Tenor will go on to that Barrack. This is the triple frontline setup that has been working for NIP. They have a ton of damage amp. And frankly, that was kind of one of the things I was seeing last time around on Ice Mines. I'm just like, man, no one's dying.
Right, yeah, exactly, yeah.
They're getting like some pretty good engages. Diggy's got 3 Evil Mojo chickens in the corner just beating them with an anchor, but they're just not dying. So, you know, maybe a little bit more damage amp, some more coordination, some higher levels of burst is, you know, what the doctor ordered.
Right, exactly. That might be exactly what it is they need. NIP's been going for those triple front lines so consistently today, and I did bring it up that when they have the Fury, that's what they're trying to go for most of the time. Well, however, now that both teams are locked in, unfortunately, us Moji mains will have to just cry just a little bit more. Another day, another dollar. We're going to throw it right down to the casters to get into this next game.
Thank you, gentlemen. The Moji mains around the world all shed a single tear. The hover does not end up coming out this time around. Envy, they get themselves Makoa, Eevee Willow, so double blaster on one side, another triple frontline composition, though, for NIP on the opposite. Do you think Envy have the tools to deal with the triple frontline comp that NIP brought?
I think so. I think Eevee Willow is a really great counter to it because the triple tank can't really land on either of them. I mean, they're both able to play far enough away. My biggest worry for Envy coming into this, though, Makoa doesn't handle hard pressure that well. I think that's one of the things that kind of makes it fall apart without Ancient Rage. If they can just find Rubu and apply pressure to him, it could go. It could go towards NIP, but obviously, he was able to play it excellently on Fishmark, and I wouldn't be shocked if he can repeat it now, right?
I mean, you're going to have the Inflame and then a likely Hunting Party mark on that Leviathan Makoa for a good portion of this game. I mean, you're right, though. I mean, so much mobility. All of the damage is very mobile from Envy. I mean, you're going to be hard pressed. I mean, I guess Tyra kind of draws that card out of her deck here. Deal with the flankers in this case. Atlas maybe with some long-range shots. You charge that up, it's doing a good bit of damage as well, but already you can see the mobility of Random Noob, who is playing the Eevee this time, which sticks Rock Monkey on the Willow. The back line with some help from the Makoa as well.
Rock Monkey Eevee is kind of interesting. Rock Monkey Willow is kind of interesting because I feel like I haven't seen him play it really. I mean, I haven't watched his stream too much recently, but I don't remember him playing in Pugs or anything like that. We'll have to see how it works out. Tenor, early catch, but a lot of sustain, bowling ball, all that stuff manages to get him out. And Random maybe overextending to try to find that kill, gets picked off by Diggy. At this point, Tolkien won't be able to get out, so he throws himself at the point just to buy a little bit more time. But NIP had objective control that whole way. Gonna go to 99. This is gonna go immediately, almost uncontested.
Yeah, wow. I guess that's what you get, though. Bittner back on the Barrack this time. Little alliteration to move us through point number 1 there. Bittner making it look a lot better. I mean, we brought up maybe Alex wasn't as used to playing the con as Bittner is on the Barrack this time around, and then NIP looked very good. I mean, I guess you expect to be fighting from the point with a triple tank composition, and they do just that.
Yeah, I mean, you can play kind of more hyper-aggressive with that, but with the tanks they have, I think, from the point is smart. Interesting to see Bittner, I mean, going from DPS to point tank, but I guess point tank not right now because he's playing right on the flank, diving straight into the back line, getting stunned, but still the damage he put on, all that he did, guaranteed that fight for Nip.
Okay, Envy just with no leg to stand on as NIP are rounding this final corner. Envy are going to be respawning into a world of hurt. Alex has the crossfire if he wants to just add a little extra confirm. Going to back out of the dead zone here. Back in. He tries to do a little bit of damage. Dread Serpent from Envy tries to buy them a little bit of space. The shell spilled out from Rubu. Shell spin out, excuse me, from Rubu. Seismic Crash answered back by Tolkien as well. Diggy Dog, though, finds that kill, finds another. Both of the front lines gone for Envy. A triple kill for the Atlas and 2 points for NIP.
Atlas's overwhelming damage there was so hard for them to deal with. I mean, Tolkien thought that maybe they could turn it by getting that one kill. Like I said before, numbers advantage against triple tank is really big. I mean, if you can out-health them, that's their biggest advantage is gone.
Right.
But I mean, the damage coming in just completely equalized it. I think this might have been the flank. No, this is the mid from Tenor. This was a lot of, he was just in their face. You can't really deal with him. It's not early enough. It's not late enough in the game to kill a Barrack after he gets hooked. That bowling ball, that failsafe, all that is just going to make it so hard to confirm those kills. And the Barrack build is here. It is the Barrack build. It is the only one, and I think it's the one that really is the reason he's in the meta in the first place. Get rid of any of those cards, and his hold on the meta is a tenuous one.
It's not a build, it's the build.
Yeah.
And Envy don't have a kill, they have 0 kills and 0 points to top it off as NIP all on streaks, all looking comfortable. About a 3-minute first round. The Faithlight's going to try to find something. Answered out, though, by the Inflame as they're really trying to push their pressure here onto the sides of Envy. They have to back off. Bonker gets the first kill onto the Makoa. Some good healing coming out from Bird as well. And already Mr. Hayes is in such a bad spot. Hits a good stun. Looks like Rock Monkey's there to try to seal things out, but Bird gets a kill onto Tolkien on the back foot yet again. Finally, a kill for Envy. Comes in the form of random noob onto Bonker.
Yeah, I mean, Bonker being in the back, he's expecting to die. What an exile!
Yeah, wow.
I'm not sure if that was on the wormhole or right before he got back, but that could confirm a kill. Look how close. There's no way he's getting out.
Oh!
They just didn't shoot him. They were reloading.
Yeah, that...
Well, either way, Random Noob gets away for free. He's controlling the right side now. Envy retakes point control because of that. I think he was putting down the shield, and that's where the Atlas damage can come in, letting him get that for free. Rubu now has time to come back, which means he has the Ancient Rage online too. Don't think second chance is online. Excuse me, Bonker was caught there anyway. He goes down, and Envy looking great right now.
Looking very good. Trying to turn things around, though. Bittner, never count him out on this Barrack. He's still alive. Alex as well, spreading out those hunting party marks as best as he can. NIP down 97 for Envy, but they have such a good control on this side of the map now. Dread Serpent in onto a couple. Tries to buy some space for Envy, though. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to get it. Really, it's just Bittner zoning out the rest of the members of Envy. They're going to be able to get back in time, get a touch here. Rock Monkey goes solo. One more shot will do it, and Bonker finds it. 2 members of Envy are now down, fighting a losing battle. And NIP in a great spot to capture their 3rd point of this game.
I was going to say, if Rubu can get rehealed, maybe they can flip this, but Bonker already way ahead of the game. He's on Mr. Hayes, all that pressure, no heals coming in for Tulki. Bonker's going to go down for this, but he basically won that fight. Good setback, too, on Rubu to save Bonker maybe a little bit longer. Random gets the retouch, but, I mean, no heals, no point tank. He's, this time, no shield coming down, so that damage is going to get absolutely confirmed.
And
there goes
touch the point. Oh, no, they're still on the point, Mr. Hayes. He just spends a little bit more time in this game. Savage now. I believe that's Diggy Dog on that side. 3-0 up on Shattered Desert. 6 minutes into the game. About as fast as game number 1 went for NIP. Looking to tie up the series, send us to a best of 3 down the stretch. They could do just that if they're able to push this payload in.
It was very nice of Envy to donate like 200 credits in that fight by keeping that going. The overtime contesting, all those kills, it actually was a big boon to NIP. Not enough traded out for them. Bonker finding Rock on the side. Hayes also getting stunned, so we can't keep him alive. But looks like the DR might have been enough to confirm that. Alex, a lot of the damage potential out of the game for NIP.
Looks like for the first time, Envy might actually be in a good spot to win one of these fights pretty convincingly. Rubu's had a great series on the Makoa. Just a couple more shots will do it. Doesn't find it. Looks like he's going to shell spin his way out of that one, allow Random Noob to confirm it. Now NIP are all respawning back from base. And they're going to put in a good zone here with 1.5 minutes left. Plenty of time for NIP to get back in there. 4 ultimates ready. Only 2 for Envy. Faithlight, Dread Serpent. And the other 2 are only about halfway there, so NIP actually in an okay spot as far as retaking.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Rock maybe use Faithlight here just to get some zone, to get over the shield here. Exile coming in, it could be a good counter to it.
Oh no!
Great Exile counters him in time, but I mean, the team is there. He shouldn't be able to get out. Good hook too to peel for him, but Crossfire might catch Rubu here, and it does, so things are already looking great for NIP.
Yeah, bye-bye Makoa. Willow's the next on the menu. Maybe Hunting Party Mark is going to spot out right where Rock Monkey is up in the air there. Is going to get a little bit of that passive healing, a little bit of team healing as well on top of it. Down into the firebomb. He nearly goes down into it. Bittner hits the shot, though. You don't need the fire to burn away that Willow. Now NIP on their retake attempt, relatively successful, starting to move forward. 40 seconds remaining. Envy, they have 3 ultimates. They might have to use them only in flame for NIP, but you better believe If they see an opening for it, they'll use it.
Oh yeah, I mean, no reason not to ult at this point, right? Because even if you lose this, it's 3-1, and then if you get snowballed, it's 3-3. Snowball might be happening for Envy, though, with Bittner getting hooked and ice stormed over there on the side. Will they? Oh, Rubu actually might be able to get traded here. No, the tank's not enough quick damage potential, even with Atlas's insane amount.
Right.
Not enough to confirm it. Seismic Crash finds 2
Yeah,
in mid,
wow.
but I don't think they can. Never
Oh!
mind. Flash Flower stacks confirm that as Rock keeps up the chase on the left side.
Yeah, with 5 seconds remaining, Envy, great spot here. Find themselves their first point on Shattered Desert. Rewind's just going to stall out the inevitable 3-1 for NIP Envy. Some great stacking of damage and ultimates there around the back end to win themselves that defense.
I thought they were going to spread, but I mean, when you're scared, you just need to hold somebody, feel a little bit better. Let Rock get that double kill there at that last moment. Rock on the Willow, I mean, he hasn't been particularly loud, I would say. I don't think I've been like, oh my God, Rock is popping off here. I mean, maybe this is about to prove me wrong, but I think his play in general has been solid for someone who doesn't really play Willow all that much.
Yeah, and you know, like you said, I mean, you normally would see him on a Leon, on a Cassie. I mean, that's sort of his tried and true, his rock. It's Rock Monkey's rock. He's making the Willow look good at 6 and 5 here. Random Noob at 3 and 4. 5 assists though to top that one off. I mean, I guess if he's on a 9 streak, he's finally started to come into this game if he's 3 and 5 kills and assists. Yeah. Only one of those coming prior to a lot of his deaths there. So going back into this game is the Eevee. Inflame though starts off for NIP. First kill goes the way of Alex onto Rock Monkey. Bird, a little support on support damage there. Finds the kill for NIP. Envy now down to 3, now 2. Maybe 1, and it's going to be Toki who's the last man standing here just trying to get to the point and deny whatever he can. But it's going to be nothing as NIP win the fight convincingly and now zone out for the win.
You got to think about how Envy countered the triple tank on the last map. I mean, yeah, we can talk about Alex on Khan a lot, but I mean, the bait they did was because they were clumped up. They're too spread. They're giving Nip a target to land on. That's the whole point of that fight. 3 Assert Dominances in the backline, but not a single one lands as Random confirms onto Bonker while he's coming back down. So Rubu wants to come in and touch, but the setback is going to say no to that.
A single tear down the face of the Ashe this time around. Rock Monkey stays alive, but Bird trades out. It's a double kill for the Willow. NIP have 93% here. Envy have the numbers. The Dome Shield, though, might just stall things out. In this case, Rubu trying to stay aggressive. Gets stunned up. He has to burn the Ancient Rage to stay alive. The hook in. He's going to probably confirm this kill onto the healer. He does just that. Overtime begins for NIP, but they have no healer on their side. They have no more life. The crossfire into the backside of the Makoa is going to get Alex a kill in this case. Envy have retaken the point and get themselves a kill, but Alex is still alive. He still is able to put the marks down and maybe flip this one around.
It's still a 4v4, I think, with Spawners coming back in. Tulky having a DR on the point because of the pressure from the Tyra. Who will find the death first? Looks like actually Diggy might be low on that Atlas on the side, but he's far enough back where he can get healed. Fast cap means it's coming in real quick. Seismic Crash to maybe confirm, but Tenor perfectly dodges it. Tulky maybe overextends for that. Random goes down. Tulky's most likely about to follow him into the grave, and NIP flip that fight on its head.
Yeah, oh my, they might just win this game here. Rock Monkey, Tulky, the last 2 lines of defense here in this case. A Dread Serpent trying to save something, but Mr. Hayes is not going to be enough. Diggy Dog and his double kill are, though, and NIP tie up this series.
Great foresight by Tenor to use his bowling ball to get behind that statue. Nobody was in position to shoot it. I mean, maybe if Random had line of sight on it, it could have worked, but Random just died on the side. He was trying to 1v1 an Atlas.
Yeah, I mean, this set already, honestly, the way they've been trading back and forth, this very well come down to a Game 7. Whoever wins this last game may end up winning the set here. Down to a best of 3. Whoever wins 2 more, we're going to take this one. Shattered Desert, a fun one to watch, absolutely. A little bit of fight there towards the end for Envy, but just too well-rounded of a triple tank composition, I think, for NIP.
Yeah, I just think Eevee Willow is conceptually a good counter. I think it had its options, but again, putting people on roles they might not be 100% comfortable on is going to be a weakness to either comp. Alex on Khan, Rock on Willow. He performed well, but the synergy probably just wasn't there.
Yeah, good bounce back there from NIP to tie it up at 2-2. We'll have Game 5 for you right after this.
The Paladins Premier League is brought to you by Evil Mojo, developers of Paladins.
Welcome back to the PPL, guys. NIP currently evening up the score 2-2 after taking that very convincing win on Shadow Desert.
Yeah, man, that was great stuff. Kind of back to the more true root of at least what we've seen Triple Frontline be successful as for NIP. And I think that's kind of the comp anyway. Like when you say Triple Frontline nowadays, that's really what's more applied, I think, to everyone in the league. You asked me a pretty interesting question, though, of do you think, Envy might ban the Tyra?
Yeah.
And the more I think about it, it's like maybe, but it's like that's really what is good about that Triple Frontline. A lot of good frontlines open that they had that time around. You won't always have, your Atlas and your Barrack and a lot of those ideal frontlines. But while Tyra is core to the success, I think, of that composition, I think banning her is like, it's almost being like too certain, saying like they're going to pick this, they're going to do Triple Frontline. There's too much else that NIP could just like pivot to, and that is also going to be very strong in a draft like that. Banning out the Tyra, I don't see it happening. Could it be a good way to dismantle this Triple Frontline? Maybe in the future.
Yeah, I can see that on NIP's side that they have like quite a bit of damage taken from Diggy. 82,000 damage, while Toki took the 107,000 on Envy's side. Only just a little bit off in terms of like almost evening that up. Diggy Dog might have even eventually have gotten more if the game had went on as a little bit longer, but Anard known for her sustainability.
Yeah, he's a pretty good Atlas.
Yeah.
He's a pretty good Atlas.
15-3.
Like I said earlier, Phoenix, Rhino, and I kind of lumped them in with Diggy Dog. But he is just so consistently scary. I've seen Rhino, I've seen Phoenix, hell, I've even seen Rubu too, have like these really, really solid performances, but it's just like almost every time with Diggy Dog. I mean, the consistency with which he can just kind of take over with Atlas. Playing around these cooldowns very, very nicely. There was a nice moment, we caught it on broadcast as well, slapping a Willow out of the sky with Exile as she was trying to get a Fae flight off. Whether he meant to or not, a lot of things working out for Diggy in this game on Atlas.
Yeah, the damage itself is just so surprising. Not necessarily. I shouldn't even really say surprising.
Not at this
damage,
point.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, that's where I was getting. That's where I was alluding to, is that at this point you can't even really be surprised at the damage that Atlas is doing. But one thing you can do is, at this point, I feel like you could still try and underestimate that. You don't watch your positioning, and then you'll end up fighting, or you'll end up like in these little mid fights, and you're like, wow, okay, the Atlas just ended up killing me. That damage was a little bit more than surprising.
Hell of a player for sure. New to this sort of off-tank role. His initial spot on NIP was for that blaster, which he played, in his roots in Kanga. That's what he was there to do. He was there to play that Drogos. Frankly, he played that Eevee a little bit back in the day too. But he's had to step up into this role, and I think, he's done a real bang-up job of it, too. It's a tough spot to be. You got to play so much, and when you do get those picks, when you do get that Makoa, when you do get that Atlas, and you don't do well, kind of all eyes on you. That's kind of what makes that role very tough, in my opinion.
I think one of the perfect situations that is to talk about as well was that right at the very beginning when they had drafted Atlas, when NIP actually managed to grab it. You mentioned the point of like they were sick of it. Right, yeah. It was a good switch up from there. Yeah, because normally they would either they had been locking the Makoa first a couple times. Rubu had shown them like, okay, this Atlas is a little bit more than annoying. So since they are clearly going to pick it, we should take it in our own arsenal, and they made it work here, especially
could be a perception thing, man. Makoa's just been top of the food chain for so long, like literally since the character came out, and he's an old character. I'm pretty sure Makoa came out after Victor, and this was still when the maps were all like huge, like conglomerate, together-y maps that just had like a different capture point could spawn at different parts. Makoa is an incredibly old character that has been an incredibly high priority in the competitive scene for such a long time that it doesn't surprise me that with how new Atlas is, that it hasn't quite, in perception at least, quite taken over. Even some of the PPL players, wanting to just go to Makoa. When you've been playing something for 2-3 years and it's been so safe and so good and so high performing, that's ingrained in you to just want that character. But Atlas could be one of the new top dogs on the block, especially when you stack him up against Makoa. I think he has a pretty damn good matchup in a vacuum, as rare as that may be, against Makoa.
Timbermill being the next map they decided to opt to go for. Game 5 here, they decided to ban Torvald first on Envy's side, which once again, standard ban. You don't normally allow him through. The Strix ban as well. Now, on Timber Mill, I can understand this because normally you see both Knessa and Strix locked on here. They have enough coverage, they have enough high ground to be able to maneuver and pretty much just fire down onto that point. They have literally a clean line of sight through as well. Oh, wow. Okay. Now, this is...
Triple front line again, Stefan.
Yeah, triple. Exactly.
Let's go, baby.
Exactly. Because for them to ban both Strix and Knessa, who else would they be going for? Makoa is open. Khan is open. Everyone's on the board this go-around for this game.
So nobody with a scope per se, but you can still Leon here and,
Of course, yeah,
get
of course.
that vibe. Hitting those presences, it's not as consistent and as potent long-range damage as a sniper might be. The first Mave of the set, NIP have been banning the hell out of Mave this time around. Janos as well has definitely seen his fair share of bans this set. It's something highly, highly loved by Mr. Hayes from Team Envy. Bird plays a decent amount of it if they go for those triple DPS squadrons. But with Atlas gone, no front lines locked into the first phase of picks, unless the next 3 are front lines, which I highly doubt, given Timber Mill just being such a long distance, wide open map. Just doesn't seem likely. Envy certainly have their plate full here. This is going to be kind of a tough draft to navigate through with no snipers, because that's normally that's like what you're drafting around, and it may not be easy, but it's straightforward. This time around, it's like a little up in the air what people might be going for.
Right, exactly. I feel like with Envy, like you said it perfectly, they have a lot on the plates right now. They have a lot of these tanks, these frontliners open. They have the free range of pickings here. They already got rid of Atlas, Torvald, but they're hovering the Barrack. I would imagine they'd want to lock it. They want that strong point presence. They want Rubu to be able to control those flanks with Makoas, with his anchors, with his hooking in general. Maeve's going to have sort of a difficult time trying to deal with both him and Eevee at the same time.
Well, as solid as these are, really solid picks for Envy, but they also serve that double-edged purpose of, I think, being strong takeaways from NIP. Barrack pairs well, at least in theory and on paper. I'll be super pumped if we get this. Like this, this is my emoji. You know what I mean?
This is
yeah. But before we get there, Barrack synergizes, I think, on paper a little bit better with Genos. His single, tinkering shots scale a little bit better. He has a lot of his own self-sustain to look after himself where Genos really can't keep up. And then from talking to Bonker, I just know he hates Inara.
Right, yeah.
Playing Inara when his healer is Genos is something personally he just does not like. So he might be forced to that, unfortunately. Still hovering on the Andro.
Yeah, they're heavily debating.
Could be Tenor,
decision.
Could be Alex that play it. Probably.
The Con. They'll offer the Con
Who would have
instead.
played that for NIP? Tenor probably would have played Mave in that case.
Yeah.
Probably would have been out. I don't know. We don't get to see enough of Andro anymore, damn it.
Right, yeah. I mean, that is
It might be time for a personal campaign to get Andro buffed. I don't know.
That's what you do.
Y'all
can run
mind
the
if I mess
Andro
around and get Andro buffed?
You guys, you can run the personal Andro campaign. I'll run the Moji one. We'll have it.
Yes,
Yes,
Candro.
I
Thank you,
love
Blake.
that.
Oh,
Thank
man.
you. Oh, yeah, okay. You'll run the Andro campaign. I'll run the Moji one. We'll run it like two opposite sides of the spectrum. We'll do what we can, right?
You need a running mate. That's for sure. Victor Maldamba being hovered at the moment for Team Envy to round this one out. Get some long range. Nobody looking at Leon just yet. It's just kind of surprising. I think Leon does well against Mave, against flankers, things like that.
Not the powers they were graced with.
What Rock Monkey wants, Rock Monkey's gonna get though.
Yeah, I mean,
Today it's gonna be Victor.
I mean, they are hovering the Maldon, but they do end up making it, which is to be expected. Right now, they have a frontliner that's open on the side of NIP. Now, the question is, do they opt to go for triple DPS in this case? You made a good point. The Leon is open. Khan can solo point tank just a little bit. We have seen it the case before. We saw it in the PML with the Shadows. We did see that actually happen where Dethroner ended up pulling it out on one of the maps, and it actually did work well because they ran solo tank into triple DPS.
Left too, I mean,
but right, exactly, yeah. Because it's like, do you go for Fernando here? Or, there it is.
It's. I just hear Bonker just like, no,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want an Aura. No, I don't want it. Like, give me the Con. Put Diggy Dog on something else.
Right.
He's probably gonna play the Willow here. But yeah, it's not like there is a good frontliner open, but this is one of the better triple DPS maps in my opinion.
Right, exactly.
And again, just personal experience talking to Bonker, I know he doesn't love that combination, so he's probably not jumping at the chance to get it.
Right, exactly. I mean, they do have a very strong lineup on Envy's side. The Makoa, the Barry, Eevee, Victor, Maldamba. Lots of staying power, lots of aggression coming out from these flanks from both Makoa and Eevee. And NIP has a very, very strong composition as well. Running the triple DPS, it's going to be really, really strong. We're going to throw it right down to the casters to get Game 5 started.
Well, you get Timber Mill, but you don't get any snipers as Game 5 is about to get underway. A couple champions on either side that can maybe fill that role. You got a Victor on one hand, a Cassie on the other side, and the reign of Makoa in this set continues.
I mean, Nip just doesn't want to ban him. It's putting everyone kind of off guard. And I'm actually really excited to watch Timber without snipers. It's definitely the most fun way to play it, so watching it unfold is going to be great. And I was very sad when that con was locked because I knew that the Nip quad DPS was not returning. I mean, the last time we saw it was against Envy. The last time that Envy beat Nip, and Nip, I believe, got just deleted in that game. I can't remember for sure.
Was it Na'Vi versus Nip at the end of the last split, maybe?
Yes, that was the Bonker Lex. But no, they definitely ran quad DPS as like the first map against NIP.
Oh, did they? Oh, okay. At any rate, though, not something you would be too surprised to see, but we don't get it here. Mr. Hayes going to hang out up top with Rock Monkey on Victor. Not something you get to see too often. Very excited to see it this game, though. Team Envy already garnering themselves down 30% here. Sniffing out Alex, trying to flank around the backside. They have a Khan as well waiting in the wings, but Toki's just going to elect to fight from the point as Digidog finds the first kill onto Random Noob. Alex with the immediate follow-up as well. A double kill. He's going to go up top and find both of the members of Envy who are camped out on top of that building, and NIP, they turn it around.
They were just not ready for the flank to come up top. I mean, Hayes and Rock completely caught off guard now, and Nip is going to get a really good forward zone here, I think. Just holding down. Bittner's already spamming that really far right area. Everyone's dismounted. They might have a chance to touch with the Makoa if you can get on. Never mind. All right, Bonker. I guess I don't know how the caster feed is getting into the player booth, but clearly they already have all the answers.
They know. It's Random Noob trying to even things out here. Now back onto the point for Bird here. Random Noob, the next death. They're not going to have that long-range touch. Ooh, good Void Grip. Keeps Rubu out of range. Rock Monkey finding a last-ditch kill, though. It's not going to be enough. Actually, it's going to stagger in the wrong direction. They get the payload cap and a good fight. It's already moving towards the Envy base.
Yeah, Alex with a 1v1 here on the right with Random decides to give it up. He does usually have the advantage in that fight, so he can take it on his own terms, you know, just get some spam and force Random to come to him, maybe. Bonker, the only tank, already with a strong, dominant position on this high ground. Maybe looking to charge his overpower to get a kill to equalize this once Envy get all their spawns back, but for now, just going to spam. That's what one of their comp's biggest strengths is going to be.
Well, they're ready to go now. Fayflight on the back of the Digidog kill onto Random Noob. So much of that mobility now gone for Envy, just plugging away at the back of Rubu. It's got to be frustrating. Don't have a shield either. Digidog gets that kill. Now 2 for 2 in this fight as Bonker makes it 3. Envy all the way backed up into their base. A good stagger here will net them their second point here on Timber Mill, and as convincing as it started, looks like it might come to an end here for NIP.
Tilke gets an elevator straight back to spawn in part of the disengage from Digidog. And Nip have learned tank on this map, good.
Yes.
At least one.
Quad bad, tank.
Quad bad, tank good. I think that's what it took this whole break and MSI for them to learn. But they looked great, I think. I mean, Bonker didn't look great on the con at the start, but he's of this set. But he's clearly picked it up a little bit more, warmed up as time went on. This was that early aggression up top that Hayes and Rock weren't ready for. And
they just send two. They send the con and they send Alex as well, and they just dive right on top of Hayes and Rock, and they don't have a chance against that combination. Healing numbers relatively even here, but a single kill for Envy, and it was on the end of the mid-fight when NIP had already captured the point onto Bird. Everyone else, 0 deaths in their column.
Yeah, I mean, and that's... Picking a Genos is great, but if the fight is about to end, it's the worst one, because his marks don't go away when he dies. They still remain. What a start from Bird, too! Through time and space, catches them as they go right through the teleporter. They were not ready for that. It's such a hard reflex to stop from going in, and Rock just could not help himself.
At some point, maybe you just shoot down low towards the elevator. Doesn't happen this time, though. He gets the pick up high onto the high ground. No Victor. Envy all grouped together off to the backside. Looks like Overpower was used, was connected. Digidog, though, caught out by a respawning Rock Monkey. The barrage rings true here. They're able to pull one back. NIP, though, they're sticking Bird onto the point, who actually has Random Noob flanking around the backside, and now all the kills are blue. in the kill feed. Envy, after a horrible start to this one, are able to pull things back as Bittner with a saving grace for NIP.
Actually, a great heal there from Hayes, too, is what let that happen. Hayes was really far away from Random, but that little heal just let him live through one more Blast Flower shot. So Hayes, good on him to keep that going, keeping the trades all in Envy's favor, minus the 1-for-1 there. So Hayes holding the point, does not have Dread Serpent to deny the cap, but good hook by Rubu, forces cooldowns in from the Maeve, so she should go down real quick.
I love that interaction, just Damba desperately trying to hit shots onto Alex. A good stun as well. Rock Monkey in a beautiful position on the high ground is going to find 2. Bittner turns it around. A lot of anti-heal there, keeps him alive. But 2 kills is enough for Envy to get their first point here on Timbermill.
Yeah, and the DR from the Willow let Tenor live to make that dive. DR plus Genos heal, I mean, without the caught fully online, you're going to live through a lot of stuff you should not live through. So
Sure.
letting that trade go in his favor, but not point, unfortunately, for NIP. Rubu settling here on the side, getting healed by Hayes out of line of sight, but Faithflight from NIP, they want to take this back. They want to get an aggressive zone. They don't want to give Envy any card time.
Yeah, it starts to go downhill very quickly if this card is able to round this corner, trying to find something to stop it is NIP. Faithlight likely is worn off by now. No kills just yet. Envy taking to the indoors arena, prevent too much that Bittner damage from coming through. Actually, Random Noob off screen finds a kill onto Diggy Dog, with the only kill being returned by Bittner onto Rubu. Now there's no more healing, no more long-range Cassie damage. If Bittner goes down, this goes very far forward, very quickly for Envy. Now it's Alex on the Maeve, trying to find something to return it back, but he's the last one in this line of defense here. And Envy, they're elevating this final round.
Also, Random, king of the back door from some earlier games, is getting pressure on the point that whole time, too.
Nice
So the card's
shot.
getting really close. These staggered kills, no tank up, just respawning now for NIP means no one's going to really be able to contest. Maeve's DR isn't enough. They buy just enough time for Bonker to live, but all their DPS is being low means they just ignore him, walk right past him. Now they can deal with him. No health up for NIP at all. Bonker going down means Envy take this to a 2-2.
2-2 it is, and no ultimates really used towards the end of that one. Both teams are going to be somewhat on evil playing ground, but even playing ground is really what I mean.
We don't know what kind of rituals have been done on Timbermill.
On Timbermill,
to keep it in.
there's a teeter-totter and a slide somewhere making it an evil playground. At any rate, though, this is a
No,
good,
I was with you.
You were with
there.
me. You were there. All right. At least one person was. Good shots, though, from Rock Monkey from the high ground. Top damage in the game, followed up by a lot of damage from NIP here.
Victor definitely doing his job.
yeah.
I mean, top damaging by that amount. It's not a lot, but against triple DPS with Genos, it's what you'd hope for. I mean, Victor is just the damage host for that team. It's on Random, Rubu, and Tulki to find the finishes as the fight goes on. You know, the people that he gets low with the grenade running, it's all on them to keep that pressure up.
He seems smartly trying to avoid through time and space this time. Doesn't end up getting used. I think Bird probably realized he would have been called on that one. It was in the zone, but probably wouldn't have been hit by that one. Already forced out, though, is Tulki. Bonker, the only frontliner for NIP, hanging around this right-hand side here as Envy looked to get a little aggressive. First pick went over to them last time, and that really opened the floodgates for the rest to follow here. Scout used, Faithlight almost ready, Overpower almost ready as well. Envy, lots to work with, not popping anything just yet. Midnight maybe being careful, ready for that one to come out. Two teams that are just poking at one another. Midnight does end up coming through here. This is where NIP will look to get aggressive through time and space as well. Snipes out Tulki this time. He got the Victor last time, gets the healer, or the frontliner, excuse me, this time around. Bittner trying to stay aggressive, looking for the return on Random Noob, but he finds it. Rubu's able to answer with one back, though, for Envy.
Brett, love the seedlings on the wormhole. What a smart play. I mean, Tenor's played against plenty of EVs in his time. He knows how to deal with that. Rubu's still on the high ground. The shield showing through the floor means his position's going to be given away. He's going to have to disengage, but there's still plenty of time. I mean, 24-27, and still no cap time going for NIP. So they're not feeling great, but I mean, they got to get on this point. It's still nothing. They're still just focusing on controlling these high grounds for some reason.
They had him forced back. Now finally back on the point goes Tulki, immediately deleted though. Overpower, answered back with by the barrage. Nobody in the line of sight to find any damage here. Likely will go back on a cooldown. He uses one rocket, so back to 40%. Goes to barrage for Victor. Alex with a double kill sets up NIP so well here. If he wants to get aggressive again, Rock Monkey and Mr. Hayes are still up on that high ground. A couple more daggers and an execute is all they need onto Random Noob. Some healing on the ground. He's going to be able to blink out and stay alive. Still not on the point though, or NIP.
Yeah, this is such a big problem with this single tank composition. I mean, there's just no one capping.
Nobody
Your
wants
support
to get on it.
Can't get on because the people from high ground are going to spam you out. And Envy have been capping the point. I mean, have been on the point way more than them, basically, at this point, it feels like, at least in these fights. And Rock finding a pick on Diggy means things are going to keep going their way. Random collapsing on Bonker on the side. That's so unfortunate for them. I mean, they just could not kill Rock, so nobody could touch the objective.
I mean, I guess somebody just needs to say, yes, I'll go on point, you guys zone, but nobody wants to say that in a triple DPS composition. One more burst from Rock Monkey will do it.
I mean, are you going to be
now
the
pushing for the win?
Are you going to be the one to say, hey, Tenor, stop doing damage, please, Cap?
I'm not.
Yeah, exactly. And clearly no one else on NIP is going to either, because it just stayed stagnant.
I mean, can it really be as simple as that? Nobody wanting to say, I'm going to go get on the point? I guess it might be.
You never know. I mean, with triple DPS, things can be kind of chaotic. You know, it's a very different game style. Slither, I want to point out, that was not a fat finger by Hayes. That Slither there was purely to cleanse the mid. Thanks to those new changes to the Mave Ultimate, any state of CC immunity that you enter will completely get rid of that. So slithering into the wall just to get rid of that right there.
Fun little interactions there. Professor Kriz walking us through some changes made to Maldamba in this case. Some good fight back, though, from NIP. Used the Faith Light, used the Midnight as well. That's all they need to stall out this defense. Looking for 0.7 here. They're going to have to do it. They don't want to go down to set point for Envy. It's a big fight back, though. And Alex is doing his best to force Envy back as long as they can. Some good mobility, good plays out of him this game so far.
He's playing pretty clinical there. I mean, really good just kiting away from the Makoa, staying just out of that hook range. Did eat a little bit of the barrage, but, you know, he got re-healed. He's ready to refight. Rubu already walking into some of those daggers, but Diggy going down on the side. Envy, with that high ground control, are going to surround Bonker too, most likely. That shout, all it's going to do is set him up for the dredge anchor from Rubu, so 2 in favor of Envy.
They might even push their luck a little bit more as Toki has a double kill, making a triple now for the Barrack. Rock Monkey takes away the quad. Envy, at any rate, will be happy, though. They're going to get around this corner. Still 4 members staggered out, now 3. Soon to be 2 and 1 as NIP are starting to respawn from the back of their base. Making their way down Main Street here. Rock Monkey staying aggressive as well. With Diggy Dog gone, this becomes a lot more difficult. You only have a Mave and a Willow to try to stop a lot of this pressure from coming through here for Envy. 4 streaked out members, and maybe the final push.
I mean, Rubu had a great shield there to block the overpower too, so one of their best pick options is just completely out of it. Faithlight coming in, because that one equalized. Oh, what a great air shot actually by Tenor. I didn't realize it was him, but from the Faithlight catches random. I don't even know if that was intentional, but it doesn't matter. The card is getting so close. Tulki does not have the dome shield. Tenor going down on the point too. He has to kite away. Do they have any damage to follow up on the point? Not really. They have some high ground control, but Tulki just gets chased down, and if they want to contest this objective, they're going to have to use Ancient Rage most likely.
Yeah, it looks like they're not going to want to do that. Yeah. It's likely going to time out here. Might get in time. Random Noob actually finds it. Rubu into the shield here. Not going to elect to use Ancient Rage this time around. Alex getting that kill as overtime will expire. A nice double kill from the Mave just to cap things off. We are going to a 0.7 here on Timber Mill.
I mean, watching that, you can see that Envy still must be at least somewhat in control of their own communication, right? Because Rubu could have touched, got low, backed up random, immediately blink, soar, ice block onto the point, wormholes out. So they still have that level of coordination to be able to set those plays up.
Right.
To keep up that pressure on the objective. If that hadn't happened, then Envy wouldn't have even had a shot. From our perspective, we know they didn't have a shot, but at least they gave themselves a chance to stay in the game.
And Tulki coming up big here towards the end of the big mid fight. Whether you call it confirmed. He was poised. He was ready for that final shot on the Quadra. Doesn't get it, though. Rock Monkey, good for about 27, 26K more damage than anyone else in the game. You kind of expect that out of a Victor, though. Good healing numbers as well from Envy. You got Ancient Rage, Barrage, Dread Serpent to maybe seal this one up. NIP only playing with the Midnight, soon to be Overpower, thanks to the reset cooldown off the back of the miss. Toki has to bowling ball out, keep himself alive. Rock Monkey maybe looking for a little bit of damage out of a barrage as well.
Love his little position on the boxes to get a good sideline there. Hook onto Bonker. Dread Serpent to try to confirm Midnight. He's right in your face. That's not going to save him from that. No amount of darkness will keep Bonker alive. Envy with right side high ground control, maybe trying to catch out somebody, but nobody's there because the Mave already disengaged to the low ground.
That's right. Barrage still up and ready as well. Only Dread Serpent. Dome Shield will be soon coming from Team Envy as well. Trying to find some plug shots. 63% is where Envy stand. Only need a handful more to seal up this game and send it to a set point over Ninjas and Pyjamas. Faithlight as well used. First kill, and this one goes Diggy Dog on the way of Tulki. No more frontline presence aside from the Makoa, who smartly backs off here. Nobody on the point yet for NIP. This has been a big problem of theirs so far into this game. They're going to win this fight. Ancient Rage, though, tries to stall things out. No kills just yet. Up and over goes Bittner. He's going to find Random Noob around here, around the corner, but is he able to get out? He is. The Eevee's still alive here, and Envy still plenty in this mid-fight.
Random hitting some great shots from mid-range. He has to stay alive, though. He's going to be so important here. Maybe they can catch out the Willow. No, there's someone already there on the right side to protect him. Diggy putting on a lot of pressure onto Random, forces him out, but no cap time again from NIP. The damage is just too overwhelming from Rock through time and space. Does not connect on the one person stopping them. Great peel up top here, too, to save Rock Monkey. They're trying to stop it so they can cap. Don't save Rock, but they do get the pick. Maybe they can find Bonker, too. Nips capping, though. Envy have to be aware of this.
And they're trying to pull this one back. Mr. Hayes and Rubu, each with one. They have the Dome Shield. They're just going to toss it down. They find all of the kills. It's maybe only Diggy Dog who's in range. They could get a touch with the Maeve, but at 96%, he gets exploded. Dread Serpent sends Diggy Dog running, and Envy put NIP on set point.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way they can touch at this point. Taunting on Seedling is a little scary, but Hayes is confident enough in that that end round thing to flip that around. What a good turn by Envy in that last fight. I mean, the peel from Random, I think, was what really hammered that in. They knew they were going to dive Rock because Rock was the only thing stopping them from capping. Random flies back in. They lose Rock, but they trade too, and that fight just completely turned.
I gotta say, I don't know what to make of this Envy team. I really don't. I mean, you have a day where you go down 4-0 to Virtus Pro, and now you got 2 chances to win over NIP. You just need one more win in this set to take it. I mean, maybe they're starting to peak at the right time. Maybe Virtus Pro is now just that good. I'm not sure, but a great game from Envy.
Yeah, picking solo tank Khan. Triple DPS is traditionally good on Timber Mill, but Khan has historically struggled on vertically challenged maps when he can't make it up to that area. Spam down from the top just tore him apart.
Oh, believe it or not, Envy could be the only team to repeat beat NIP. We'll find out if they can do that right after this.
Skillshot, the official production partner of the Paladins Premier League.
A different view of my life. You left me running on and on, but I don't care, would you let me in? You said goodbye like everything's gone, everything that we could have been, but I know you are my liability. Yeah, I know you are my liability. You say that you're sorry. We turn the page and make up.
Welcome back to the PPL. NIP having banned both snipers, but Envy coming out on top of that one, now up 3-2. The potential of taking it over NIP.
Yeah. It's happening, guys. I mean, NIP get the next map pick. But I always say that, as these sets start to go longer and longer, game 6, game 7, the advantage you have, I think, on the map picks you have left in the pool starts to dwindle a little bit. I think the playing field starts to level out, at least from a map perspective. Like, there's not those, fish market for Envy. Looked pretty one-sided. I don't know that you'll catch Envy too off guard where you're so much stronger, given what's left, to be honest with you.
You're right, yeah, exactly. I think it really comes down to just whether Envy can actually close this out against NIP, because we have the potential of it actually going up to Game 7. We're going to take a look at the post-game screen here real quick and see exactly what all of these players were doing. Rock Monkey, 108,000 damage behind him. The rest of NIP are slowly following up. Random Noob with 73,000, but Diggy Dog sort of almost close to where Rock Monkey was, but not exactly. 94,000 damage and 92 respectively on Bittner.
Yeah, Victor, big hit scan threat. Rock, big hit scan threat. He's going to have the most consistent sources of damage. That was a close one, and I think you kind of see that reflected. 3 DPS is going to get a lot of damage. They're going to get a lot of kills. Like, these are really, tasty-looking slash lines for sure. But it comes down to, being able to lock the objective down and win the damn game. Random Noob, have a chance to kind of highlight him here on the Eevee. Sort of the premier flanker, right?
Right, exactly.
Timber Mill. She is often banned. If you're looking at like Virtus Pro against a Fasheko, she's going to get banned all the time. But I think in total, she kind of reigns supreme at being able to leap from rooftop to rooftop, soar around, lock down a sniper with like an ice storm. You know, Kessa won't be able to teleport her away. Cripples are very important for locking down some of those more squirrely targets.
Right, exactly. And I feel like just in general, NIP, if anyone had the potential to still win this game, it would be NIP. Because I was actually talking about it with Gore just a little bit before we actually came back, was just, okay, why didn't they? Why did Envy not try to commit last time? Because you saw how close the payload was when it was about like 3-2. Envy had the potential to push it in against NIP, and I was like NIP is a momentum-based team. Is there really a situation where you wouldn't want to just be aggressive in that scenario against them?
No, I mean, you got to get after it for sure. We know NIP love to play them some aggressive styles. Really, no matter what they play, even if it's a triple front line, even if it's triple DPS, if it's a standard, 2-2 split, they're just going to get aggressive. I think that's how they like to operate.
Right.
Stone Keep went very well for them yesterday. Does it go well for them here today? We'll have to wait and see. They ran the triple front line with the Tyra, something they've run and had success with earlier today. So if I were Envy, I would be on high alert for that, especially given you just lose a game.
Right.
It just went really well for you with the triple frontline Tyra, and it went well for you yesterday.
Right.
Just the human element of let's get back to what worked for us. This worked for us not only today, but yesterday on this map as well. I'm definitely smelling triple frontline in the air, especially given no frontline bans from NIP.
Right, exactly. Maeve and Cassie are both gone. Envy, respectively, has banned Torval with the potential of banning another character. I think personally it's going to be Atlas. I don't feel like they want to give NIP. NIP did really well in Shadow Desert with Atlas. I don't know if they want to afford giving it to them again, but they actually opt for the Barrack this time around. Now, Bittner's Barrack can be really, really scary.
Yeah, man, it's almost like you asked me about banning Tyra. It's kind of like that. It's well, triple frontline didn't work for NIP. It's hard to say it'll never work, but it didn't work for them today when Alex had to play the triple, that front line in the triple front line. Maybe if we can get Tenor off of Barrack onto, Pip or whatever it is, and Alex onto that front line, maybe they still pick it and it doesn't work out for them again. I think that's it's an interesting line of thought. At least that's our hypothesis of the line of thought. From obviously we're not inside the minds of Metapusher and the boys in black and blue at the moment. But just judging off what has happened today in this set and what's left in front of them, I think this is a good call from Envy.
I do, and I like their composition already. They're opting for a more defensive style, Makoa and Nara, which is really, really interesting because that'll be hard for NIP to sort of break through. The CC immunity for Nara to be there as well is like, I just like the possibility of no matter who NIP drafts, that they have a very solid defensive line for Envy.
You can't really bully Nara too hard out of where she wants to be. Atlas is good because he can control it. If you time your cooldowns appropriately, Ashe can knock that character away. But again, the threat of triple frontline and Barrack's banned and Nara's picked. It's tough to say what they'll do because if you were looking at this draft with Barrack still open at this point, then it's a much more real threat. But this is that territory. Well, we got to pick Khan or something.
Right.
And again, if they want to go that way, that's what I think Envy wanted them to do.
Right.
So, and NIP still not locked in either way. They could go for a double backline or composition, something like that. Perhaps an Eevee, that is also still open if they want to go that route.
I really, really was telling myself, in my head, I was like, if you had a defensive line so far for Envy, who would you feel like would be the best option for that? And I was like, well, maybe Maldamba, maybe just being happy to have that extra little extra appeal. But I do like Ying as well. The Leon comes through as well. This is really just they are on Stone Keep, they are we're going to fight for bridge, or at least how I think. They're going to fight for bridge. They're going to try and have that control point.
Up and keep.
Yeah. They're going to fight for that, and then they're just going to end up moving the point and then just trying to control it from that point on. I feel like this is me personally, I feel like this is very early game, we're fighting.
So this is it. This is it, Fawn. This is the Barrack. This is the Barrack ban. Had the desired effect on this NIP composition. But it may be as simple as just putting Tenor on Khan this time instead of Alex. I think what happened on Ice Mine was more of a factor of they played Pip instead of something Alex can play in the backline, you know what I mean? This is an important data point, I think, on NIP, on how they respond and how you can start to look at defeating this triple frontline composition. I like it.
Yeah, I do too. I really, really enjoy this as well. I've been already praising it throughout, just in general throughout the entire draft phase. Just that I really, really like the defensive style that Envy is going with this. And they have the Leon, they have the Bomb King, so they can be aggressive if they need to. But
yeah.
NIP, whenever they pick that Furia, every single time they pick Furia today, it has always been triple frontline.
For sure.
Every time.
Yeah, been a big important part of it. The movement speed, the damage amp. You saw some moments on Ice Mines where it just looked like they couldn't get kills. It's not a problem for them with this composition. However, they don't have the Barrack. The Dome Shield is pretty nice, I think, especially looking at yesterday, the way Stonekeep went. Having some type of frontline ability is always great. Ash can hopefully fill that role if she's not getting poppied or hooked out of it.
Right, exactly. Well, this is it. Game 6. Throw it right down to the casters. Get us into it, guys.
Thank you, gentlemen. Kresnik, if you look at MSI, you wipe that one off. Let's forget about the midseason invitational. And NIP have only lost 2 games. Sorry?
Oh, I forgot about it.
Oh, right.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, right. I don't even know what you're asking me what about. We've gone that deep down this rabbit hole now. But at any rate, in the PPL this season, NIP have only lost 2 games. One to Navi, of course. The other, of course, to NV. I emphasize that super weird NV. And they're on the verge of doing it again. I mean, it's hard enough to take even games off of NIP.
Yeah.
But something about what NV are bringing to the table today are putting them up for success against NIP.
I think that their strategy, just in general, of kind of baiting in the triple tank is usually good, but I don't know how I like it on this map. Because it works at Ice Mines because everyone's so convoluted, but they're grouping up really quick. Setback by Random Noob pulls him in. He's going to get picked off by Alex. Tenor is on con this time, someone who's going to be a little bit more comfortable as they wrap through this banana area. So much aggression. The clumping, again, it's not going to work if you get surrounded like that.
Yeah, absolutely get run down for Envy. Nothing to hang your hat on this time around. Bittner, I don't think he's left off the left trigger this entire game. They're honestly just going to leave him out on an island here, try to get some dismounts as NIP look to eclipse 50% on the point here. Alex coming in for a little bit of an assist as well. 66% now for NIP as Envy look to get a touch.
Diggy gets hooked in. No second chance means he can't get away. Makoa's going to try to go for the touch, but
yeah,
Tenor's right in the way. That actually might give him a chance to make it in, but it looks like it's not going to make it just in time. Bird getting that finalized capture on the objective. Random might make it into church, so Envy has a chance to flip this and get an aggressive zone. Looks like they will. Toki hunting for kills inside the game.
I mean, the absolute aggression to start off this game, I don't think Envy were prepared for. I mean, they quite literally just ran down the entire Envy lineup. They're able to stabilize, as you pleasantly point out here. The payload returns to its starting point. But just too much of a offensive threat to weather for Envy, and NIP capitalize 100%.
Yeah, the thought I was trying to get off before that fight just initiated also, well, I guess we'll get it off again. Overpowered by Tenor, gets rid of a lot of the damage pressure from Envy, so NIP is going to get onto this objective. They're just going to focus down Tulki. Everyone else is kind of in hiding. Alex also in hiding, but his mark is doing the job. He just had to peek for that 1 second. Hayes getting chased down. Most likely would not be able to get away. If he does, it'll just be for a couple seconds.
And all the kills now back for NIP. 3, almost 4 ultimates ready for them, trying to push this one around the backside. I will give you the floor, though. You had an eloquent point, I believe, ready to be made.
Okay, I was waiting for them to start a fight again, but every time, when they play this composition, it's going to be only good on Ice Mines when they want to play this style into triple tank, I feel, because that's the only map where there's just, like, the choke.
Right.
There is the choke point, so they can kind of bait everybody into it and play them all in front of them, but you can't do it on any other map. Stone Keep is going to be one where you can get surrounded from the low ground. Bonker, great assert dominance up top to start things off, but no one dies yet.
Yeah, wow, he's still alive in there. Everyone from Envy is as well. Illusory Rift helps them stay alive. Bonker has to get out, and he does just that. Envy stalled that one out very well. I mean, that's a double stun on the high ground from an assert dominance. Not something a lot of people live to tell the tale from. Shoulder bash in as well, wants to stay aggressive. Ninjas and Pyjamas do, and they have Inflame. Exile Crossfire now getting thrown out as Diggy Dog at you with the opening kill in this case. A good second chance, gets his health bar nice and filled up. Alex with another kill as well. Envy are now very, very staggered out. Tulki is able to return 1 onto Diggy Dog. So important here in this case to just find something, but he's got 3, 4 members of NIP surrounding him. And now Rubu has to throw his body into the pile.
Great dive by Ruby there to get that kill onto Bonker. No tanks really that can contest. The Khan can, but he won't last long enough. And he's going to back up to save his shield for the overtime touch. They're coming back in with the Atlas. That shield will last a while, but who's going to go in for it? Looks like Diggy puts down the Temporal Divide, so that's going to block all the damage. Nip's playing on the sides, though. Who's going to find the first pick?
Yeah, looking for the Ancient Rage, maybe from Rubu. Overpower everything at the disposal of these two teams. Bonker, though, with the first kill onto Random Noob, sets Envy up in a bad spot here. Ancient Rage on the low ground is going to keep Rubu alive, keep them in this fight. That's a good exile onto Rock Monkey. He has such good long-range damage from this perspective, and he's not able to use any of it, but they're staying alive down on the low ground. A double kill from the Makoa tilts things in Envy's favor. An unofficial triple gets the kill onto Bird, and a big play from Rubu seals it.
You know, man, Bonker, I've been there. I have been there, Bonker. I have been in the enemy. I dodge a hook just barely. I'm in the enemy spawn. I'm on both the back lines. And then your team dies.
And then everyone else
It happens. Now, that was not purely on the rest of NIP. I think it was on Envy just smartly using ultimates, Rubu, living after the Ancient Rage, and a good follow-up from the Seismic Crash by Tulki, letting things stay in Envy's favor. But now they're going to be really low on ultimates going into this mid. The economy is not going to be in Envy's favor.
Literally never seen something that exemplifies W key as much as this replay from Bit. I'm quite sure that he did not let go of his forward move key that entire engage, and makes him good, finds a few kills in that one. 4-2 and 7 is where he stands. Random Noob, tough game on the Bomb King, immediately deleted at the start of the last round. Envy are actually pivoting their play style now to go low ground instead of being run down by NIP. It's kind of luck of the draw whether they end up going the same route as you or not. Poppy Bomb over the fire to keep himself alive.
Coin flip, Stone Keep mid, walks right into the Pyre Strike, unfortunately, by Random. Bonker trying to zone out the back line. See, this is a little better because now they're not letting themselves get surrounded, so the passive play could work, and it looks like it is. I mean, 50% on the objective towards Envy, but this Inflamed Atlas, that's a lot of damage. It's going to take down Rubu. Overpower on Random too, but it gets traded out by Rock Monkey. Another one from Rock Monkey too. He's still in this game. Do not forget. Point control going right towards Envy.
He's still alive. Could find a few more plug damage shots onto Alex here. He does just that. Enlightenment ready to roll for Rock Monkey. Assert dominance, goes up, goes down. Doesn't find any stun though. The Yin Clone actually maybe baits him out of it a little bit. A hook from the Makoa, pulls out Bonker, and Random Noob still alive up here on the high ground. Crossfire onto the low ground. A stun comes through as well. No kills just yet for NIP, and all of them are going the way of Envy. Rock Monkey with 230 health stays alive. The King Bomb might just seal up this mid.
The shout keeps him alive for a second longer, but it's not going to matter. If anything, that's just going to stagger it out. Second chance by Diggy Dog barely keeps him alive, but now he's not going to be able to avoid the Grumpy Bomb. Goes right to the open sightlines, but Random walks right into a Tyra. He didn't know he was there going down, but the wall might be enough to save it. Bird has to fly in. The Atlas doesn't want to touch, so Bird's going to go down too. Seismic Crash has to hit the side so it doesn't get eaten by the Temporal Divide. Khan's just going to be feeding at this point. Alex can't peek. This is going to go towards it.
Envy, a successful mid, ends off with a few kills. A double for Mr. Hayes, actually a triple, excuse me, for Mr. Hayes. Called it too soon. He can do some damage on any of them. Ying not excluded from that whatsoever.
Mr. Hayes shooting some bodies there, feeling himself a little bit.
That's right. If there's anyone who's going to do it, Mr. Hayes.
You don't get those 3Ks very much on it, so good on him. I liked Envy's adaptation there. They played in a place where they can't get surrounded, and that's smart because that's really the weakness of the composition. And also Khan mounting right into the back line. They're going to have to hide from him, and that means NIP know what's going to make their comp win, and it's playing around them like that.
And they have to use Illusory Rift to try to stay alive. Envy do, and they do just that. A couple kills, 2 for 2 on both sides here. Mr. Hayes still left alive. Bomb King and Makoa down here around the left. NIP know it. Their respawns are going to be a little bit closer as well, as Envy are able to retake that high ground, force NIP back just a little bit. Lots of ultimates ready to use. That's a good hook in on Alex. Random Noob makes good on that one with a kill. No more damage amp left for NIP as Envy keep their foot on the gas.
Great call by Random there. He could have stayed up top and contested, but they said, Bittner's in the back, Bittner's in the back. Everyone jumps back, deals with them really quickly. So picks would have been in Envy's favor had NIP not just found 2. Tulki's trying to brawl out with Bonker there on the side.
Shoulder bash.
Looks like it should go towards Tulki's way, but we're going to have to find out after a pause.
And NIP in an okay spot defensively in this case. You see 5 ultimates ready for them. Bittner is the one initiating the pause. I mean, that's such a back and forth fight. So many important small moments, honestly, from both teams where it looks as if Envy are going to be able to steamroll it, and then it's pulled back just a little bit by NIP. And then the same on the opposite side where the Random Noob, Rubu, Hayes kind of trio ends up running down the rest of NIP. This is a close one. Envy still hanging in there, still could end this game.
There was a moment I forgot about while I was talking, but remembered it later. They had a really cool thing that Rubu did where he hooked the Ashe, pulled her in and turned her so he was facing towards his own team, and then the shell spin knockback actually was what displaced Bonker even further, sending him all the way into his own backline, getting that pick because of that. You don't normally see a kill confirmed by shell spin knockback, but this is one of those times.
Every once in a while, and a much better mid-fight, honestly, from Envy. They didn't really have much of a chance to participate when the game first started. They all just kind of got run down by Bittner and the rest of NIP. I mean, is the mid on Stone Keep, I guess in this case, really just kind of a coin flip? You hope that they don't go the same route that you do?
If you want to get aggressive, yes. If your game plan is we're just going to go in and take this ground immediately, then yeah, because if they're there, you're immediately going to butt heads.
Sure.
If you want to play a little more defensive, you can kind of wait on your side, play by the stairs, by the well, and then you can make your decision after that. But if you want to play aggressive, it kind of is just a coin flip.
I mean, Envy still playing somewhat aggressive.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and hats off to them as far as how aggressively NIP took it to them to start off the game. Still, having the wherewithal to try to play aggressive on the opposite side. I mean, you have to tip your hat to that. They're up 2-1 here on Stone Keep still. I think it was like a minute or so left on this payload push, maybe wrapping around the final corner. They have 3 ultimates up. You can count the King Bomb as ready. NIP, though, with plenty to work with. Bittner drops, as well as Bird, actually. So, precarious spot here for NIP.
Looks like Tulky did actually win that fight with Bonker on the side. I did not forget. I wanted to at least bring that storyline to a close, but Envy want to bring this payload push to a close. Rubu getting aggressive up top. Tenor, actually, they're trying to wrap around them. Again, they're trying to set up this surround. Rubu saw it coming, but missing the hook means it's going to be a lot harder for Envy.
Yeah, King Bomb as well is started off by Random Noob. Wait, does that actually find the stun maybe even up onto the high ground? He locks it up. No kills just yet. NIP not using any of their ultimates either. Illusory Rift will be ready soon. Envy, bit of a fast start, a quick start there with the King Bomb. They back off right now. NIP, 5 ultimates ready to defend with. Envy looking just for a pick back on this backside. A 3-1 is a huge scoreline. You just need 1 point to maybe end the game at that point. Looking to seal things up here. Seismic crash from Tulky.
It got eaten by the Temporal Divide. Crossfire comes in. That was such a good counter by Diggy there. No chance to get that in there. Tenor gets hooked by Rubu on the side, but all the kills are going towards NIP here. Rock's in fire, but he's not going to do too much. Not running on fire this game. 2-2 on the back of a fantastic shield by Diggy.
And that's a huge difference. I mean, I love the 2-1 scoreline set-wise, and then also within each map, you're either looking at game point or you're all tied up, and we are all tied up here. Mr. Hayes, I believe this is his triple kill. One last little blink shot onto Alex, and then he knows he wants it. Then some body shooting, some spraying, some emoting, literally everything you could do. Mr. Hayes does it. Morale boost 3 for that Illusory Rift. Bird doing a little bit of Wrecker, as Chronos too as well. Mr. Hayes does. Random Noob has come back into this game in dividends from round number 1.
I mean, I think that's case in point to it's not the right word to say, but that's partially due to the aggression that Envy's doing. Bomb King, he really struggles when they walk you. If you're doing the walking, things will turn. And good, smart start by Envy. I said you can start passive and then adapt. They do that this time because they took the risk last round. They got it. Now they're going to play a little safer because if they cap and then convert, this game's life hangs in the balance.
Yeah, they're actually playing from the point here. So if nothing else, if they lose an ensuing fight, if NIP are able to run them down, they're fighting from the point here. Overpower does not connect, just wide. Assert dominance into the back line as well. Toki just holding down the point here. Rock Monkey backs off around the side. Rubu so low on this Makoa. Good cleave damage from Rock Monkey. Tilts things back for Envy. They're up to 96% though. NIP, they might win this fight though with Alex gone. Might not look like it a hook. Pulls Bonker away. Shoulder bash gets body blocked. They might be able to get the kill here onto Ashe. Overtime ticking away. NIP on the backside though are winning the fight. Tulky gets killed off. They are fighting from the point now, but Envy need just one more touch.
This is all Envy wanted. I mean, they didn't get anything out of the Inflame. NIP, they just could not find a single kill. Rubu finding one. Another one caught by Rock Monkey there. So Hayes settling up behind the point. Heals are coming in, so there's no way NIP can touch. Rock Monkey just played he kited so well there. They could not find a single point of damage onto him, basically. You saw a Bonker in his face, another tank in his face, but nothing converting for NIP.
That's that Rock Monkey effect. You always got to keep your eyes on it, and he does it here. Big kills for him, lots of damage from the Leon. Haven't gotten to see too much of that with where Leon has been. Cassie, though, very much in his wheelhouse. Rounding maybe the final corner here. 3-2 for Envy in the game. 3-2 for Envy in the set. One more point will end it, will hand NIP their second loss. Looks like Overpower gets missed yet again. Random Noob trying to duck behind this wall. Bittner, though, finds the kill.
Illusory Rift coming in a little bit too late, but hopefully Seismic Crash will be right on time. Don't know if they're going to find that kill on Bonker. Resiliences, I don't believe, are online, but he has Battering Ram to get out. Rock Monkey holding up top. Rubu controlling that little space there. Unfortunately, no one could help Hayes with Diggy's aggression, and Nip are firmly in control of this battle right now.
All right, everyone can take a deep breath, at least just for a moment, but Envy, wait, as I say it, might even start finding some kills. Random Noob, though, one on a Diggy Dog. All right, now you can take another deep breath because things are, there you go. They pull things back. Every single time I say it, Envy are finding kills. They do the same here.
Dave, you're like my Apple Watch. It buzzes like, time
right.
to
It's
breathe.
time to breathe.
Every like hour, the worst possible time, so.
And this is the worst possible time, is Envy are piling kills onto kills. Random Noob having a big last half of this fight. Diggy Dog being saved a little bit by his Temporal Divide there. Grumpy Bomb just for a little bit of zoning here. A minute left for Envy. They round this final corner.
Bolt DPS is up top, which means they're not going to be abusing that bottom right fire angle. I wouldn't be shocked to see Rock maybe go far bottom left, but looks like they're going to just play for point burn once this wall's down.
It does drop off. No ultimates just yet. Rock Monkey has the Enlightenment. Could be a good time to use it. King Bomb as well. Illusory Rift will soon be up. Ninjas in Pyjamas will have 5 ultimates ready for this defense. They might have to use all of them in order to stay in this one. And Flame is going to maybe start this one off. They look to get aggressive. Illusory Rift counters that out, though, for Team Envy. King Bomb from the low ground. Who's it going to find through the Temporal Divide? But just right around the corner, he executes it early. Does not find a kill, but he doesn't die off either. Still alive. The Inflame wears out. So does the Illusory Rift. So does the King Bomb. Oh, but the Overpower connects onto Rock Monkey.
Yeah, that's going to be a great start for NIP. And I think Envy still have a chance if they can find the picks. They have to force them down to the objective. Tolkien finding a lot of damage here. They're using the Ancient Rage. I think Envy do want to close this out right now. No second chance up. Damage spreading everywhere. Random finding the first pick. A hook down could convert it, but Rubu goes down. That's a lot of health out of the fight.
Yeah, they're trying to save this game. Random Noob is down as well. No more damage right back there in the front line for Team Envy, but Tolkien's trying to use the Seismic Crash. Finds a stun onto Bonker. Mr. Hayes is trying to stop the kill. The Shoulder Bash sends the Ash right on through. Now he has a close line of sight onto Bird here, and Tolkien's just somehow staying alive for so long. Bittner and Bonker with the kills. Team Envy are starting to get wiped, and we may be going to a point number 7.
Oh, Tolkien's target prioritization at the end just fell apart. He wanted to get the kill onto Bonker as he dashed away, but he saw how far he was. He said, oh, I'll kill who's contesting. Turned, realized Bird was full health, turned back. By that point, Cauterize was off of Bonker. He gets full healed, well, mostly full healed because of the Cherish. So unfortunate there. That really could have gone their way, but I don't know if it would have. I mean, the spawners were coming in full force for NIP.
They needed, I think, a cleaner sweep there towards the end, just one after another, dropping down from NIP. We'll have to jump back in the game here in a moment, see where the ultimate economy stands. Rock Monkey, huge game, top damage in this one. Caught 3s across the board, 11, 6, and 21. I mean, Envy use everything. Ninjas in Pyjamas have Inflame still. We'll have the Exiles to top it all off. Envy almost have to find a way to punch first with a pick or something.
Yeah, great heals, too, by Mr. Hayes, almost at 200k, and that's with one less tank than NIP have. But so again, defensive play, but this time NIP are playing on the ground, so they're denying Tolkien that cap point pressure. They're going to have to wait, but I mean, no one in NIP is on the objective. Again, the point control by Envy, even when they're not on it, just the point denial is so good.
Random Noob now getting aggressed on by the Ash in this case. Actually, Poppy bombs himself back in. Throws it out, executes it, Exiles as well. Toki, though, through all of the ultimates, actually finds the first kill for Albus 3, gets the Illusory Rift up and ready. Random Noob gets the kill. In this case, Rubu gets his name in that column as well. Still a lot of healing coming out from Envy, keeping them alive. And in this fight, another kill from Toki. NIP are swept, and now Envy are zoning for the win.
They don't know that Bonker's up there in Banana, though, so they have to go get that high ground control, but neither tank is there. That's a complete open lane. They could go for a touch. I wanted to give some credit to Random, though. Great play by him to body block from Mr. Hayes earlier, and even better play now to go check that area. That hook means the Assert Dominance is going to have to come in, but he barely lands. Not enough cooldowns up for Rock Monkey. Objective control for NIP, and the first pick goes their way as well.
Yeah, Bird is still in this fight. He gets the kill onto Rubu. The Makoa is such a huge loss for Envy. Random Noob tries to pull things back. Bird is so low, they're not able to get the healer kill just yet. Still hanging off to the backside. 75% now for Envy. That run down onto Random Noob from Diggy Dog cleans him up here. Rock Monkey trying to plug away as neither team is on the point.
That's disastrous for Random Noob. He didn't need to cross that sight line. He walked right in all their ways. I don't know if Envy have a chance to touch Mark on Rubu. Means he's going to take an outrageous amount of damage to get in here. He's playing this tree as long as he can, but might not be enough. But Tolkien goes in for it, and Bonker might go down here as well. Great wall by him means he has to dash out, so positioning was in Envy's favor, but one goes down.
Rock Monkey starting to get into this fight as well. Crosses the temporal divide. Tolkien with a double kill. Bird maybe pulling things back. He has to get in. He has to try to find a touch. He gets hooked down from the high ground. Are they able to find Digidog though? The Enlightenment finds it. Rubu with the double kill, and Envy are going to unseat NIP.
Wow, Tolkien getting into that objective, focus being drawn everywhere else. Great pullback from Envy to flip that. That fight went every single way it possibly could have, and what a turnaround from yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, you lose 4-0 to Virtus Pro, and then you 4-2 NIP in pretty convincing fashion. I mean, there's some 4-0s sprinkled in there from NIP, but what a day from Envy.
Hey, Dave, I don't want to have a knee-jerk reaction here, but is VP the best team to ever play Paladins?
They might be. VP are the greatest super team ever assembled in one room here. It seems like that. They go 8-0 on the week. 1-for-1, though, for Envy and NIP. And I think this is an important win for Envy. I was talking about how they draw like the worst possible card to follow up a 4-0 loss, but also means if you win, it's like the best possible swing. So, you know, that covers up, I think, the 4-0 from yesterday. A 4-2 over NIP is huge for Envy.
Yeah, that momentum swing mentally at least has to be huge. And we know Envy's a team that they're prone. They can fall to those like slump periods. I mean, we saw it earlier last phase around this time.
You're right.
So this is already going to be a better phase for them if they can keep this up.
Yeah, I think this is a big morale boost, no pun intended, for the boys of Envy. And right down to the line, it shows that they're a team, communication on point across the board. And then you look over at NIP. I mean, they really leaned into those triple frontline comps. They really, I guess only once looked towards triple DPS, but they were really going for that today, and Envy kind of had an answer to it.
Yeah, and I found it really interesting that NIP really never adapted, too. I mean, they kept forcing triple tank with different tanks, you could say that much, but they just never banned the power tanks. I mean, that was clearly their strategy, and they pulled that rabbit out of the hat, and then someone asked for another, and it was just the top of a hat.
Yeah,
that was it. They had nothing left.
There was no more rabbits left down in there. Our Friday of PPL comes to a close with a big win, Envy 4-2 over NIP. Let's send it back to the desk to wrap the day.
Thank you guys from the Casters booth. What an amazing game. Super close set all day today. But Envy managed to clutch it out 4-2 versus NIP. Envy, man, that map on Stone Keep, like that Stone Keep map was
really good.
That was really good for them. They played that well, really well.
So many close moments too where I mean, NIP almost brought it back. You have to give Envy a lot of credit. That final take-back fight that wins the game and the set, that's really impressive. That's super late game. With NIP already kind of, not zoning them out, but in position to fight with the capture point under their control. Exactly. With so much on the line, I know tensions must have been high in comms. Those are the tense moments, though. Those are the moments that make champions, and Envy show that they're absolutely still a team of that caliber.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to go straight to post-game, see what it was with her this final game of today. Digidog, 107,000. Alex with 146,000, but not even that. Look at Rock Monkey. Don't even look at Alex. Look at Rock Monkey right now.
Rock came in and had a couple of clutch moments in that final fight as well. So many big things to talk about. I mean, one thing that comes to mind was that assert dominance from Bonker at the last second. He got it off with like maybe 200 HP left over. If that didn't happen, I mean, NIP would have lost. But that was the moment I looked at. I'm like, man, if you know, this is kind of NIP's map to lose at this point. They're back in control of it. So many big moments. I mean, I thought that was a great stasis shield. I mean, there's a lot of things to talk about to break down there, but it is Envy just barely able to edge that one out at the end of the day, man.
Right. Exactly, 40 assists on Mr. Hayes. But Tolkien, man, I wanted to talk about him so bad because from a clutch seismic crash to a triple kill, then to ending up the game with Mr. Hayes going around on this flank right here. And I believe like this is the replay it was. You saw the hook actually end up coming out. You saw it happen. This is when they slowly started to retake back the point. This is the first time that they actually got to point during this round.
Yeah, one of the cool moments I think that you were referencing, we all kind of like gave a little ooh
exactly.
that crash. I think largely it was like a last second adjustment. Digidog threw up the stasis field. This could actually be it if he gets his ultimate charged here. Diggy throws up this stasis field, and right at the last possible second, I mean, Toki throws his seismic crash off to the second. Is that it? No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't it.
But he had a lot of great crashes in that game, a lot of great moments from Toki, throughout this set, and it's sometimes not always in the kill feed that it shows up, especially his impact as a point front line.
Exactly.
But you have to look at, these tough situations that NIP are put in when it's overtime or when it's 80-something% to nothing.
Right.
That's Tolkien. That's
exactly,
his
exactly.
kill feed. That's what he's filling up. That's what his duty has been this whole time. It's really that sixth man that you can put into play if your point tank is solid enough.
Yeah, I mean, it's been just really, really well played from everybody overall on Team Envy. Once again, we said it all the way in the beginning. I mean, to reference this again, but it is important. They play together. If they lose, they lose together. If they win together. They play so well. They played so well during that last fight. I remember when it was like the Makoa was waiting behind the corner. He didn't peek immediately. He didn't want to get dismounted and be in a bad spot. And as soon as he came around to try and distract them, distract NIP, you see Toki and Mr. Hayes immediately come in from that flank, come in from that side room, and they immediately start pressuring in. And that, when I saw them get that first kill from there with Rock Monkey, all them being in a good spot, I was like, that's it. I was like, they actually just won that purely off of that alone.
Yeah.
Good communication. Really, really nice communication.
They're going beast mode, man.
They are.
It wasn't the Tyra ban that necessarily beat them in that triple tank scenario. Maybe the Barrack ban is a good way to go about defeating this NIP triple frontline. I think that's something for a lot of other teams in this league to have watched and to sort of start to just say, that could be something that we use in the future as well.
Right, exactly, for sure. Very, very nicely done from Envy in general. I think we have an interview right now with Mr. Hayes and Rock Monkey, I believe it was. So what we're going to do is that we're going to throw it right down to that interview. Let's get it started.
All right, guys, welcome back to the winner's interview chairs. Honestly, a tough day yesterday, 4-0, but today not only do you get the 4-2 win, but it's over NIP. What after yesterday coming into today, what are some of the moods? What are some things you guys talked about? Anything to change, or did you really just play poorly yesterday?
I think you got this one.
All right. I mean, we're actually performing really well in practice, the weeks leading up to these 2 days here. And then yesterday we didn't play like a team at all. We weren't like making plays together. We weren't getting the things that we wanted to in draft. It just didn't go really well. VP forced us really well in the draft. And today we changed some things up. We went back, we looked at what we were doing, we talked it out.
I think you guys played really well, specifically around the triple tank that NIP brought. The kind of very defensive, baity strategy you guys pull, was that your plan all along against NIP going into this matchup?
I don't think it was like our entire plan, but going into triple tank when we had Koa, we knew we could use the hook to abuse the Ashe and like put their tanks out of weird positions. So that was definitely something that we came up with and wanted to do.
Anytime they give Rubu Koa, that's all right with me.
Yeah, I mean, on the back, there's no way you can expect to play Makoa. I think it was essentially every game this set. I mean, it's up and available? You're just saying, guys, give me Makoa every time.
It's weird because yesterday I practiced like everything except for Khan and Ashe. Like I played a lot of Atlas and Koa, and then I just played Khan and Ashe. And then today I did the exact opposite. I practiced Khan and Ashe, and I just played Koa the entire time. So I don't really know.
It was a big momentum win for you guys, absolutely. Only team to beat NIP twice, actually, in this split. What's next for Envy? Just more of the same, continuing to improve?
Yeah.
Looking to get better going into Worlds. Easy enough. Big win over NIP to seal off the week. Congrats, guys. Let's send it back to the desk to finish this off.
Nice interview, guys. Congratulations to Envy. They worked really, really hard for that win. Amazing performances all around today.
Yeah.
All close games. Just very well done from them.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge win. I think that's NIP's third loss overall.
Yeah.
So being able to hand that one to them is it kind of sends a message to the rest of the league as well. Envy have had probably one of the lowest lows that the top, three teams have really had. Na'Vi kind of had some awkward losses. NIP have lost some games. But Envy was in that slump for a couple of weeks in the first phase. So this win is very big and important for them to be able to kind of reassert that they are still the reigning world championships until somebody, unseats them in a couple of months. We have the world championship coming up at HRX. You got to still, realize these guys are an absolute threat. They are hard to defeat mentally and can really, really adjust their game plans to, fit the needs of the situation.
That's true. Envy having played well. Let's take a look at this week's schedule overall. Here's all of it from day 1 to day 2. Thursday and Friday, VP NIP, and then suddenly VP Envy today are the ones who actually ended up winning that. Yeah, I believe
it's the only non-sweep. I'm down.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was a good.
We went from 7 gang bangers to 12-hour days to the point where we're getting everybody just swept out of the building.
Yeah.
except for NIP and Envy.
Yeah, nice job. Here we're going to do from the standings as well. Current standings, like you said, is NIP's third loss. Navi, Envy still in seat 2 and seat 3 respectively. SSG, VP, Kanga, PK, and then Renegades in last as well.
Yep. A lot of this is, you got to look at a couple of teams have played a couple more games than some of the others. NB have played a lot of, more games. Space Station have played none of their games.
Right,
so
yeah.
Standings are to be taken with a grain of salt, I think, just due to the cyclical nature of how these teams sort of play. So, don't get too wrapped up in where teams are right now. Your favorite team, especially looking at Virtus Pro, I think they could rocket up in the standings later on.
Yeah, they had an amazing They just had amazing games today. We're going to take a look at next week's schedule as well to get you guys caught up on what's planned for next week. Renegades versus PK.
Hey, speak of the devil.
And speak of the devil, yeah, exactly. SSG's first game next week on Thursday at around 3 p.m. versus Team Envy, and then follow that up with them fighting PK, and then ending the day on Friday with Team Envy and Renegades.
Man, I tell you what, if Envy can get both these wins next week as well, they'll be in a pretty damn good spot. Again, standings, grain of salt. Navi aren't here to kind of put themselves, win their game. They don't have any games next week, so it's just going to be a good spot overall, I think, mentally for Envy. Tough Thursday, good Friday.
Right, exactly.
If they can have a good next week, they're going to be feeling really, really good going into the bulk of Phase 2.
Yeah, I could imagine that things would just end up like that. All of these games are just going to be absolutely crazy next week. You guys will have to be sure to tune in, but that's all that we have for the PPL today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Love you all. See you guys next week.
Respawn, the official gaming chair of the Paladins Premier League.